Douluo, Supernatural Replication and Evolution System. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51: Meng Yiren's Arrival. Inside Shrek Academy. It has been a few days since everyone from Shrek returned to the academy. On this day, everyone from Shrek was still training hard as usual, except for Tianyu, who was taking advantage of the situation. Since Tianyu was special, he would take advantage of the situation from time to time. Just like this time, he ran under a tree to chat with Xiao Wu and took advantage of the situation. For the student, the master could only turn a blind eye, because Tianyu's talent was really amazing. Basically, he could learn anything he was taught. Tianyu even knew more about soul power and soul beasts than he did, so he had nothing to teach him. He was even less qualified to teach Tianyu in terms of combat, because Tianyu's soul power level was higher than his, and he could easily fight against Xiao Wu, who was at the soul saint level. What could he teach Tianyu? In addition, Tianyu had a good personality, and all the teachers in the academy had a good impression of him. He was also a super shareholder of the academy, so he really couldn't say anything. Daimyo came to Tianyu and said, "Tianyu, I heard that the master and the dean will take us to the fighting spirit arena again tonight." Tianyu rested his head on the knee pillow prepared by Xiao, and said heartlessly, "Going there again? The opponents there are too weak, and I don't feel interested at all." After that, he buried his head in Xiao's arms, making Xiao blush slightly. Daimyo envied Tianyu's every move, but he still said to Tianyu, "I heard that there are several powerful teams in the fighting spirit arena recently. I heard that they are also famous teams in the empire." Tianyu waved his hand and said, "Interesting, let's see how I beat them when I go there tonight." Daimyo could only walk away with a wry smile, thinking, is this the confidence that comes from a genius? You can beat them just by saying you can. After all, they are also among the top few teams in the country. Although he thought so, if Tianyu appeared, he was still confident that he could challenge him. Tianyu, who was resting his head on Xiao's thigh, suddenly said, "Xiao." Xiao didn't know why Tianyu suddenly called her, but she still replied, "Brother, what's wrong? Is it uncomfortable to lie in this position?" Tianyu said, "No, Xiao's knee pillow is very comfortable, but I want to ask, Xiao, why do you smell so good?" Xiao's face was slightly red, and she said, "We have been together for so long, brother, don't you know why?" After saying that, she rolled her eyes at Tianyu. Tianyu suddenly realized and said, "I know, this is virgin." Before he could say the other two words, Xiao held his head down. Xiao said shyly, "This is the body fragrance of a young girl, all good-looking girls have it, it's not the virgin. What fragrance you are talking about?" Although she was indeed an innocent girl, it still felt strange to be said that the body fragrance on her body was the virgin fragrance, as if this fragrance would disappear after being in the hands of a man. Just as Tianyu was teasing Xiao, a graceful figure had quietly come behind Tianyu. A pleasant voice sounded behind Tianyu, "Brother Tianyu, after leaving Yiren, I didn't expect you to be so happy." After hearing this voice, Tianyu didn't know why he couldn't be happy. Tianyu finally got up from Xiao's lap. After knowing that the person was Meng Yiren, he stood up and said, "Why are you here?" He didn't notice Meng Yiren's change at all. "Of course I came to ask you for an answer, so do you want me to be your girlfriend?" Meng Yiren said boldly, regardless of Tianyu's real girlfriend who was still next to Tianyu. Tianyu was stunned and thought to himself, is Meng Yiren crazy? Did he see Xiao next to him? Sure enough, after a while, Tianyu felt a cold murderous aura. Xiao. Tianyu originally wanted to persuade Xiao to calm down, but was pushed away by Xiao. Xiao Wu went straight to Meng Yiren and said, "I know you are interested in my brother, but I didn't expect you to be so blatant." Meng Yiren puffed out his chest and said, "Brother Tianyu doesn't belong to you alone. I also have the right to pursue brother Tianyu." Xiao Wu was really angry and said angrily, "My brother has a girlfriend, and she is standing in front of you now, so you'd better give up as soon as possible." "Brother Tianyu, you kissed me on the mouth, that was my first kiss, so you have to be responsible for me." After that, she came to Tianyu's side and hugged Tianyu's arm directly. Meng Yiren was very different today. His dressing style became different from before. He became more sexy and beautiful. It was obvious that he was dressed up carefully. What? Kissed? Xiao Wu's murderous intent was about to overflow the screen at this time. Tianyu also hurriedly pushed Meng Yiren away and said, "Stop making trouble, okay?" Then he came to Xiao's side, took Xiao's hand and said, "Xiao, listen to my explanation. I don't want to listen to your quibbling." After that, he turned his head away and didn't look at Tianyu. Tianyu said, "We did kiss, but Yiren attacked me secretly, not voluntarily." "Xiao, don't you believe your brother?" "Really?" Xiao said with tears in her eyes. Tianyu also hurriedly asked Meng Yiren to come over to explain clearly. Meng Yiren also felt that it was a bit out of place, and explained shyly, Well, it was indeed me who kissed brother Tianyu secretly, but I really like brother Tianyu. And brother Tianyu, you have to be responsible if you kiss me. Brother Tianyu, don't you really like me at all?" Tianyu didn't know how to answer for a while and fell silent. "Brother Tianyu, answer me quickly. If you say that you don't like me, I will leave here immediately and won't disturb you and sister Xiao. So brother Tianyu, have you ever liked me?" After saying that, he lowered his head pitifully, waiting for Tianyu's answer. How could Tianyu not have liked this girl? He didn't know why he liked this girl. Was it just because she was beautiful? No, absolutely not. Seeing that Tianyu didn't answer, a tear fell from her face. Meng Yiren said, "Okay, brother Tianyu, I'm sorry for causing trouble to you and sister Xiao." Then she turned around and left. Wait a minute. Tianyu finally couldn't bear it. "What's wrong, brother Tianyu?" Meng Yiren stopped. I liked you before. Greek letter Omega. Chapter 52 Depressed Tianyu. Meng Yiren wiped away the tears from her eyes when she heard Tianyu speak the truth, turned around and said, "Brother Tianyu, can I be your girlfriend?" Tianyu looked at Xiao and said, "Xiao, can I?" Xiao turned her head away and said angrily, "HMPH whatever you want." Tianyu sighed helplessly and looked at Meng Yiren and said, "Okay." After hearing Tianyu's answer, Meng Yiren happily threw herself into Tianyu's arms and said, "Great, I will be brother Tianyu's girlfriend in the future." Looking at her now, Tianyu was very suspicious whether she was pretending to be so pitiful just now. Seeing how close they were, Xiao felt a little jealous, and then she also hugged Tianyu's other arm. Xiao said to Meng Yiren, "I am Tianyu's first girlfriend, so you have to call me sister Xiao." Meng Yiren, who hugged Tianyu's other arm, also said obediently, "Okay, sister Xiao." Seeing that she was so well behaved, and that she had a good impression of Meng Ting before, Xiao also happily accepted Meng Yiren. Because she knew that a man like Tianyu was destined not to belong to her alone. Before Tianyu took in other women, he would ask for her opinion, which meant that Tianyu still liked her the most and regarded her as the most important one. Xiao Wu even felt that she was lucky to be Tianyu's first girlfriend. If she wanted to blame someone, she could only blame Tianyu, the bastard, for being too charming. Not only was he charming, but he also flirted with other women everywhere. While enjoying being hugged by girls on both sides, Tianyu asked Meng Yiren, "Yiren, how did you get into our college?" Meng Yiren said, "Of course I went to see your dean. My grandpa and grandma discussed it with your dean, and your dean made an exception and allowed me to become a student of the college." Tianyu complained in his heart, "Discussed?" To put it bluntly, this profiteer dean must have taken money. He almost screwed me over, but fortunately things didn't go in a bad direction. By the way, Yiren, where's your dormitory? The dean has given me a separate dormitory, but since I have become brother Tianyu's girlfriend, I must live in the same dormitory with brother Tianyu. Although Tianyu was secretly happy in his heart, he still said seriously, "If there are 3 of us, my bed may be a bit crowded." Tianyu's main thing is not to show it too obvious, otherwise Xiao will be unhappy again. "It's okay, brother Tianyu, I'm very thin, if you don't believe me, just touch me." Tianyu felt the touch on his hand and thought to himself, Yiren is indeed very thin. Her waist is the same as Xiao Wu's, and it's very thin, but her other part is not thin, it's a little bigger than Xiao Wu's. Meng Yiren's sweet lips were close to Tianyu's ears, and she whispered, "It's cold recently, I can help brother Tianyu warm the bed." Tianyu was instantly interested when he heard it, and thought to himself, I really want to get to the evening soon. At night, the Shrek people came to the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena again. After this period of training, the Shrek team is now very famous in the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena. Almost everyone in the entire Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena knows the name of the Shrek team. But the most famous one is the attribute, the name of Black Dragon Tianyu. A super young soul master, with a legendary god-level martial soul, has fought thousands of games without a single defeat, and is the youngest king-level person in the history of the fighting soul field. How can so many powerful titles not attract attention? The name of the Black Dragon is not only famous in the Soto City Fighting Soul field, but also a particularly famous name in other fighting soul fields. On the streets of Soto City, Shrek's group walking on the streets is also particularly eye-catching. Because all the Shrek Academy students are handsome and beautiful, the men are handsome and the women are beautiful, and the most handsome one among them is Tianyu. Daimyu Bei, Fatty, Tang San and others are all eager to try. After Tianyu's spiritual practice, they all feel that they have become much stronger, and now they can't wait to go on the field and find an opponent to compete. Only Tianyu has a depressed face. Even if there is a peerless beauty holding his arm on each side, he still looks unhappy. Tianyu, who was walking in depression, thought to himself, damn it, I have already warmed the bed for me, but they dragged me to the fighting spirit arena. It's really depressing. I must find an unlucky team to vent my anger later. After a while, Tianyu and others came to the backstage of Soto City. The second in command of the fighting spirit arena received Tianyu and others. Don't ask why it's not the first in command, because that person has been scared out of his mind by Tianyu. Even if Tianyu has no ill will towards him, he still dare not come out to receive Tianyu in person. Hi, Xiaoji, long time no see. Tianyu greeted a young man in front of him. Haha, Mr. Tianyu, you are so humorous. Didn't we just meet a few days ago? The man named Xiaoji also replied to Tianyu respectfully. This man named Xiaoji is the second in command of the fighting spirit arena. Because there is a G in his original name, and he looks relatively young, Tianyu simply calls him Xiaoji, and Xiaoji himself doesn't mind at all, so Tianyu calls him that. Although Xiaoji's soul power level is not high, he can manage the Daohan arena in an orderly manner. He is the second most capable person besides the leader, so he is so young and sits on the second in command seat of the Daohan arena. The reason why he is so respectful is because he knows that Tianyu is a big shot. According to the information sent back to the headquarters by the leader who was scared to death last time, they all know that there is at least a Super Douluo behind Tianyu. Super Douluo, you should know that there are only 5 titled Douluos in the branches of their Daohan arena nationwide, and there is only one Super Douluo. You should know that a Super Douluo can at least match 3 titled Douluos. And the leader also said that the strength of that person is probably stronger than their general owner. Their general owner is a 97 level Super Douluo. If he is stronger than their general owner, he is only 98 or the terrifying 99th level. According to the discussion and speculation of their headquarters, they think that since there is a person close to the ultimate Douluo behind Tianyu, the strength of the forces behind Tianyu must be very strong, at least stronger than their Xiandao fighting soul field. Tianyu dared to send people to suppress the owner of their Soto City branch when he knew the strength of their Xiandao fighting soul field, which shows that Tianyu does not take their Xiandao fighting soul field seriously at all, so they guessed that the forces behind Tianyu must be very terrifying. They have not heard of the surname Dongfang on the mainland, so they guessed that Tianyu could only be from a hidden family. So the headquarters gave him an order that he must treat Tianyu well and give the best service attitude to Xianchen, and must not make Tianyu unhappy at all, otherwise it might affect the entire Xiandao fighting soul field. Additional setting, the strength of a super in the book is roughly equal to 3 ordinary titled Douluo, because breaking through from level 94 to level 95 is a big threshold, and the difficulty is no less than breaking through from Soul Douluo to Title Douluo. Similarly, Ultimate Douluo can fight many Super Douluos. In fact, the author did not make any changes in this way, just like Ultimate Douluo can fight many Ultimate Douluos after breaking through to the God level, a level 1 God can fight many level 2 gods, and a level 2 God can fight many triple gods. The approximate power divisions in the book: Spirit Hall, Family Power, Hidden Family, Upper Sects, Lower Sects, Fighting Spirit Field Power, Auction Field Power, and so on, which will be added later. Next to the author, there will be more titled Douluo level characters in the book than in the original work, because it would be too boring to write according to the original work. What can a few titled Douluo do? Similarly, some characters in the original work will be strengthened, and some powerful new characters will appear in the book, such as dual spirit geniuses. The overall strength of some forces will also be strengthened, and a few more forces will be added separately. This is the only way to make it interesting. If everything is written only according to the original work, then why read fanfiction? Just read the original work directly. Fanfiction is meant to be innovative, and there is no problem as long as it is not too outrageous. Book friends don't have to worry about what will be affected by the additions, because in this book, the protagonist is always the most handsome and invincible one. Dear book friends, please read the settings carefully. The author has not changed anything. He just added some new characters and new forces, and the overall strength of the continent has been strengthened a little bit. I believe that book friends who can see this will not care about these. Chapter 53, The Fierce God Squadron. Xiaoji, please arrange for me to play against several popular new teams that have recently arrived in the arena. We have 3 popular new teams recently. I wonder which team you, young Master Tianyu, would like to play against you. Tell me about their general situation and strength so that I can pick one. Xiaoji also took out a list and read it to Tianyu. The first team is the Fierce God team. The martial souls of the 7 people in the team are all King Kong blood bears. The soul power level of each person has reached the 40th level of Soul Sect. The soul power of the captain has even reached the 45th level of Soul Sect. It is a powerful and very brutal team. All the teams that have fought against them in history have either died or been disabled. In such a long period of competition, they have killed hundreds of opponents and disabled hundreds of people. It is a very vicious and notorious team. The power behind them is the Blood Sect. The second team. Xiaoji originally wanted to let Tianyu skip the Fierce God team directly, because the Fierce God team was too brutal, and their overall strength was stronger than Tianyu and his team. He didn't think that Tianyu would choose this team. Who would have thought? Tianyu would really choose this team. Tianyu suddenly interrupted Xiaoji and said, Xiaoji, just arrange this team for us. Xiaoji suddenly panicked and said, Master Tianyu, how about you change another team? This team Tianyu interrupted, what our team needs now is such a team. The more vicious the better, because my teammates should be trained in this aspect now. When Flanders heard Tianyu's decision, he said, Tianyu, are you crazy? Do you know what kind of battle this is? Their overall strength is more than 10 levels higher than yours, and these crazy people will not show mercy like other opponents. They will kill people. Tianyu also said to Flanders seriously, this is exactly what our team needs now. They can kill people, and we can also kill people. This is something that Shrek students will experience sooner or later. We might as well take this opportunity to train them now. Flanders wanted to say something, but the master next to him said, I think what Xiaoxian said is right. This is something they will have to experience sooner or later. It is better to let them try the feeling of killing now, because this world will always be more cruel than they think. Don't let them become flowers in a greenhouse. How can you expect them to become geniuses if they dare not even kill one person? After the master finished speaking, he looked at Tianyu deeply. He thought to himself, this young man is so talented that he knows how to train his teammates psychologically. It takes a mature and stable brain to think of this. Sometimes I really doubt whether I am the teacher or he is the teacher. Flanders was speechless, because Tianyu and the master were both right and he could not refute them. He was mainly worried about whether Tianyu and the others could beat the other side. Tianyu also guessed Flanders' thoughts and said, don't worry, Dean, they won't be in any danger of life with me here. I can guarantee it. Tianyu said again, it's just that, Teacher Zhao, do you know those guys? I feel that their martial spirits are quite similar to your mighty King Kong bear. Could they be your relatives? Xiao Wu waved his hand and said, kill them as you like. I don't have such relatives. What Xiao Wu said was not wrong. If I had such relatives, I wouldn't dare to recognize them. That group of people were completely a group of inhuman beasts. There was only fighting and killing in their eyes. Tianyu and the others could get rid of them, and it was like getting rid of harm to the people. Among Shrek's teachers, he knew Tianyu's strength best. Based on his experience of being beaten by Tianyu frequently, He knew that the strength of those beasts could not hurt Xianyu. Xianyu said, "Xiaoji, you should arrange it quickly." Xiaoji could only make arrangements helplessly. He had to follow Xianyu's orders. If he made Xianyu unhappy, he couldn't guarantee that he would be in trouble, so he had better obey and do his job obediently. Looking at Master Xianyu's confident look, the fierce god team might not be that powerful in Master Xianyu's eyes. Really, what am I worried about? Who is Master Xianyu? Am I worried that they can't beat those beasts? It's so funny. Xiaoji thought in his heart. In a room in the preparation area, everyone in Shrek was preparing to go on stage. The 9 people who were going to go on stage were Xianyu, Daimyu Bei, Tang San, Fatty, Oscar, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Meng Yiren. Because Xianyu required a 9-person team battle, the other side found 2 level 40 Soul Masters from somewhere, and now there were 9 Soul Masters on the opposite side. On Xianyu's side, there was only 1 Soul Master, Xianyu, and among the remaining 8 Soul Masters, only Daimyu Bei reached level 38, and the rest of Ning Rongrong and others had just been promoted to Soul Masters. The average soul power level of the 2 sides differed by more than 10 levels. If this were placed in the outside world, it would be a game with no chance of winning. But who are Xianyu and the others? They are the protagonists, the Shrek 9 monsters. What is a small fierce god team? If Xianyu had not wanted to temper the mentality of the other people, he would have smashed those beasts with one hand. The current members of Shrek, Tang San, Daimyu Bei, Oscar, Ma Hongjin, Xianyu, Ning Rongrong, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and the newly joined Meng Yiren. That's all for now, and new members may join later. Ning Rongrong pulled Xianyu's clothes, and said a little scared, "Xianyu, are we really going to fight those monsters?" Xianyu gently touched Ning Rongrong's head and said, "Rongrong, are you afraid?" Ning Rongrong nodded and said, "A little scared." Xianyu suddenly held Ning Rongrong's hand and said, "Don't be afraid, don't you still have me? This is something you must go through. In this battle, not only must you not be afraid, but you must fight with all your strength. Don't hold back at all, and kill if you can, because your opponents are all beasts who kill without blinking an eye. If you don't kill them, they will kill us. We are partners in a team, I won't force you, and those who want to quit now can tell me." Xianyu said the first sentence to Ning Rongrong, and the rest of the words were basically said to the other people in Shrek. None of the Shrek 9 devils backed down, and Xianyu could see it from their determined eyes. Xianyu clapped his hands and said, "Since no one backed down, let's go on stage." Chapter 54, Imperial Fight. As soon as Xianyu and his team appeared on the stage, they were greeted with warm cheers from the audience. "Shrek! Shrek! Shrek! Goddess Rongrong! Goddess Zhuqing! Goddess Xiao Wu! Goddess Xianyu, I love you, I want to give birth to a baby for you." After the outstanding performance of the Shrek team in the previous period, they also gained a lot of fans in the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena. Most of them are Shrek's Strength fans, and some are Ning Rongrong and other girls' beauty fans, but more are Xianyu's beauty fans plus Strength fans. What made Xianyu blackline when he just came on the stage was that the one who just shouted to give birth to a baby for him was actually shouted from a man's mouth. In a high-end box, there were several beautiful women and handsome men sitting in each. Sitting on the sofa in the middle was a young man with long black hair and a slender figure. He was not handsome, and there was little expression on his face, as if his facial muscles were stiff. He was wearing a blue suit without any decoration. The whole person gave people a very simple feeling. But this simplicity made people feel very dangerous. The young man sitting on the sofa said, "Oh? What's the origin of this Shrek? Why haven't I heard of it before? Do you know Oslo?" The young man named Oslo sitting next to him said, "Captain Xianheng, this Shrek team seems to be a popular team that has recently emerged in the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena. The leader seems to be the legendary Black Dragon." As soon as they heard the word Black Dragon, the other people in the private room also became interested. Because the name Black Dragon Xianyu was spread in other places, it was really amazing. What is the youngest soul master on the continent? What is the most handsome person on the continent? What is the youngest king-level person in the history of the Xiandao Empire Fighting Spirit Arena? What is the person who has the legendary god-level martial spirit? Any of these titles is a bit too exaggerated for one person, And the most exaggerated thing is that all these titles are on a young man, which makes them feel that it is a bit boastful. A girl with long dark blue hair sitting not far away said, "Is that handsome boy the black dragon that has been rumored recently? He's as handsome as described in the rumors." A young man sitting in the corner heard the dark blue girl praising Tianyu for being handsome, which made him a little jealous and said, "Ling, that guy may just be handsome, and his strength may be just so-so." When the girl named Ling heard Tianyu being said like that, she seemed a little unhappy and said, "Qiu Ming, brother Tianyu is not like what you said. I know him. Brother Tianyu is a genuine king with 1,000 wins and no losses, not like you, a little platinum." The man named Qiu Ming was speechless. He simply couldn't stand the girl he liked praising other boys for being handsome, and then he just said it for a while. Who knew that the girl named Ling would take it so seriously? A burly young man in the room whispered to another young man who looked the same as him and was also burly, "Brother, do you think Ling is interested in the guy named Black Dragon?" Qiu Ming was scolded for just saying it. The young man who was called brother by him replied, "Brother, I don't know either." The girl with dark blue long hair named Ling thought to herself, "What do you know? I have seen the video of brother Tianyu fighting. The look of him possessed by the martial spirit was really handsome. Those opponents whose soul power was more than 10 levels higher than that of brother Tianyu were not able to withstand even a single move from brother Tianyu. If Tianyu saw this girl named Ling, he would probably say, 'Brother, with this damn charm, I have unknowingly gained a little fangirl.'" Yu Xianheng, who was sitting on the sofa, suddenly said to a purple short-haired girl sitting not far away, "Yaner, what do you think of the strength of Black Dragon?" The purple short-haired girl didn't look at him, but said coldly, "The battle hasn't started yet, how can I see anything?" Yu Xianheng was a little embarrassed, and could only change the subject angrily. "I heard that the Black Dragon's martial spirit is also a dragon martial spirit. It's rumored to be very magical. The quality of its bloodline is probably not as strong as my Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex." As soon as he finished speaking, a powerful dragon power instantly spread throughout the fighting spirit field, because Tianyu and the others had already started fighting. At this time, Tianyu looked like he was possessed by the dark holy dragon martial spirit. His evil eyes and handsome appearance made many Tianyu's fans in the audience obsessed. "Wow! It appears, the appearance of Tianyu's martial spirit is so handsome." The girl named Ling in the box couldn't help shouting. Looking at her obsessed look, several teammates around her were basically certain that Yi Ling was Tianyu's fangirl. Looking at the momentum and form of Tianyu's spirit, he shut up completely, because anyone who is not a fool can feel that the blood power of Tianyu's spirit is obviously much higher than that of his Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, not to mention that he is a teammate who has been with him for a long time. Yu Xianheng was a little embarrassed at this time. He just pretended to be cool and said that Tianyu's spirit quality might be lower than his, but he was slapped in the face in an instant. There was no way, because in his cognition after living for so many years, the blood of their family spirit, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, was almost one of the best on the continent. He really couldn't think of a spirit with higher quality than their Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex bloodline. If he wanted to blame someone, he could only blame his short-sightedness. The young man named Oslo made up for it and said, "Captain, I remember that the higher the power of the Dragon Clan martial soul bloodline, the more obvious the dragon transformation will be when the martial soul possesses the body. I remember that when you were transformed into a dragon, only the dragon claws and dragon scales were transformed, but when the black dragon martial soul possessed the body, almost the whole body was transformed into dragon, including the dragon claws, dragon horns, dragon pupils, and even the most difficult dragon feathers. Isn't this what your family calls the ultimate dragon transformation? Only the most noble and powerful martial souls of the Dragon Clan bloodline can be transformed. Captain, are you sure that the Black Dragon martial soul bloodline is lower than yours?" The man named Oslo also spoke directly, not noticing that Yu Xianheng's face was already very ugly at this time. In fact, he didn't intend to make up for their captain. His personality was like this. He was straightforward and said what he wanted to say. He didn't know how to read people's expressions. This was also the reason why he was not ranked at the top of the team, despite his good strength. The purple short-haired girl named Janner had ignored Yu Xianheng a long time ago and turned to look carefully at Tianyu on the battle platform. Compared to Yu Xianheng, who has no strength and can only pretend, Boys like Xianyu attract more girls' attention. Author's note: in this book, Du Yuyan is not with Yu Xianheng, they are just ordinary teammates, because in this book, the old poison is the leader of the poison sect, and his strength is much stronger than in the original book, so Du Yuyan, as the daughter of a big sect, naturally looks down on Yu Xianheng. If you don't like it, don't criticize. If you don't like it, don't criticize. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55. The battle begins. The view turns to the battle platform. Dark Holy Dragon. Evil-eyed White Tiger. Evil Fire Phoenix. Blue Silver Grass. Sausage. Soft Bone Rabbit. Netherworld Spirit Cat. Seven Treasure Glazed Tower. Dragon Spirit Snake Staff. Every member of Xianyu's team has released their martial spirits. After Xianyu and his team have released their martial spirits, the tall and sturdy man who is the leader of the other team also released his martial spirit first. A huge blood-colored giant bear phantom gradually condensed and appeared behind him, and then his figure instantly became several meters taller, his muscles began to bulge, and long red bear hair like spikes began to grow on his skin. After that, the martial spirits released by the other members of the other team were all diamond blood bears, and they all looked like bears, but none of them looked like the strong man at the beginning. The murderous aura of the 9 people on the other side was released instantly, and this murderous aura directly condensed into red energy. Whether it was the girls on Xianyu's side or the audience in the audience, they were all shocked by this sudden murderous aura. Among Xianyu and his group, only he and Tang San were used to big scenes, so this bit of murderous aura had no negative impact on them, but the others were not so happy, especially the girls whose faces were pale. Even Daimube was a little unsteady, because when he really faced the opponent, he realized how terrifying the opponent's strength was. He felt that the opponent was just an ordinary soul master, and even if he tried his best, he could only fight 2 people at most. But the opponent had more than 2 people. When he saw that Xianyu still had the same expression as usual, he cheered up instantly. He admired Xianyu for being able to remain expressionless in this situation, while he, a prince of the royal family, almost couldn't stand steadily. It was really embarrassing. Then he readjusted his soul power, his eyes became firm, and he could faintly see a murderous intent rising. Feeling the murderous intent condensed into a physical entity, Xianyu still looked normal, but thought to himself, to be able to condense such murderous intent, at least several thousand people must have been killed. Otherwise it would be impossible to condense such murderous intent, but they are not soldiers on the battlefield, where did they go to kill so many people? Unless there is a special technique to cultivate murderous intent? They seem to be disciples of some blood sect. This name sounds quite evil. It seems not surprising that they have the skills to cultivate murderous intent, but the quality of this skill is not good. Although the murderous intent has been cultivated, the mind of the practitioner is not very clear. Xianyu looked at the Shrek teammates behind him. Except for a few women who were a little uncomfortable, Daimube and others also slowed down, and their resolute eyes also carried murderous intent. Xianyu slowly raised his hand, and a halo began to spread from his body to the people of Shrek. The people of Shrek only felt that they suddenly had a strange ability, and the murderous intent that was suffocating them also became weak. Feeling this feeling, the people of Shrek knew it was Xianyu, because in the long time they had fought with Xianyu, Xianyu would open this magical halo before every battle, and the gain brought by this halo was no worse than the gain brought by Ning Rongrong's 7 treasures glaze. The reason why Xianyu did not release the halo at the beginning this time was because he wanted to see how long the people of Shrek could hold out under this killing intent. That was more than 10 levels higher than theirs. Their performance was already very good for Xianyu, because ordinary people would probably not be able to hold out for even 10 seconds under this killing intent, let alone the people of Shrek who had never killed anyone, and the soul power levels of both sides were more than 10 levels apart, but they were able to hold out for so long. Inside the box, the girl named Lingling said, "Brother Xianyu is so amazing. He can still stay so calm under such a strong killing intent. What a strong heart he has. Love you." Xianheng was also a little shocked, because he could feel the strong killing intent from such a distance. He could guarantee that he would not be as calm as Xianyu under such a strong killing intent. Although they had never fought with a fierce god team, The opponent's strength was not much worse than their Huangdao team. So they thought, can Shrek really beat the opponent? The 9 soul masters of the opponent also looked at Xianyu and his team in surprise. They did not directly attack Xianyu and his team before, purely because of their abnormal psychology, because they like to use strong killing intent to break the opponent's spirit first, and then slowly torture the opponent. Yes, they are so abnormal. But they met Xianyu today, and they were destined to be finished. After confirming that Xianyu and his men were not frightened by their killing intent, their captain, a level 45 soul master, began to rush towards Xianyu and his men. They roared like a group of angry giant bears, 9 giant bears rushing together, shaking the platform with a loud rumbling sound. Seeing the level 45 soul master rushing straight towards him, a pitch-black sword instantly condensed in Xianyu's hand. Xianyu calmly held the pitch-black holy sword and slashed it directly. This sword was so fast that few people present could see it clearly. The big man didn't know what happened yet, and continued to run towards Xianyu with a grin until he felt pain in his arm. He looked down and found that his right hand was cut by Xianyu's sword. The reason why he didn't feel the pain just now was because Xianyu's sword was too fast. His nerves had not reacted yet, and his hand was cut off. The big man roared in fear, because the wound on his arm was now piercing his heart. He roared wildly, making the audience confused. Although the cut on the big man's arm was neat, there was no blood flowing out. Only a black energy could be seen on the wound. The big man had desperately used his soul power to suppress the dark power, but it was useless. He could only stare at Xianyu with angry eyes. Xianyu was not afraid of his weak chicken-like anger at all, because the dragon would not care about the anger of ants. Xianyu said slowly, "Don't you like to torture your opponents? Then I will torture you too." After saying that, he smiled at the big man. The big man looked at Xianyu's devilish smile and roared, "I will kill you." He didn't care about the wound on his right arm. 4 soul rings floated from his body, war bear giant demon axe. A huge magic axe instantly condensed on his left arm. The big man directly grabbed the magic axe and leaped into the air and chopped at Xianyu. This was originally a soul skill that was used with 2 hands, but even though he only had 1 hand left, the terrifying power that erupted was enough to instantly kill anyone in Shrek except Xianyu. Inside the box, Yu Xianheng looked at the screen and said, "The power of this terrifying attack is close to that of a soul king. Even if I want to take it, it won't be easy. Can He Lung, a level 41 soul master, really take it?" Book Friends Group 100,861,943, Book Friends Group 100,861,943, Book Friends Group 100,861,943. Chapter 56 Crushing. Xianyu looked at the giant axe that was coming at him, and just glanced at it lightly, and said, "Too weak." Then Xianyu gently swung out his sword again. This sword seemed very casual in Xianyu's hand, but the power it unleashed was not casual at all. A dark sword energy as dark as night slashed along Xianyu's blade, and wherever the sword energy passed, it was torn apart by the terrifying dark energy. A long crack was directly cut into the floor of the battle platform made of high-level crystals. The dark sword energy collided with the giant axe of the strong man. The giant axe only lasted less than 2 seconds under the dark sword energy, and the giant axe was directly shattered by the dark sword energy, and the other arm of the strong man was also shattered. Without the resistance of the giant axe, the dark sword energy slashed on the strong man's body, and the strong man was directly chopped to the ground. There was a long sword mark on his chest. Xianyu did not kill him, but only crippled his hands, because Xianyu also wanted him to feel for himself the feelings of those opponents who were crippled by them. In the upper box, the young man named Oslo said, "How amazing! The King Kong Blood Bear martial soul, which is famous for its defensive power, had its hands chopped off by the sword in the hand of the black dragon as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. What kind of sword is that in the black dragon's hand? Is it a Horcrux? It doesn't look like one." At this time, Yu Xianheng came out to pretend again. "Well, according to my observation, the black sword of the black dragon must be a high-quality sword Horcrux." Xianyu's little fangirl Yi Lingling heard that Yu Xianheng was pretending again, and also said, "Captain Xianheng, you are just talking nonsense. That is obviously the magical power of Xianyu's martial soul. The magical power of martial soul is a necessary skill for the god-level martial soul. Captain, You don't know it, right? After being exposed, Yu Xianheng was also embarrassed and said, "Really? Haha. I just made a mistake." In fact, he was already MMP in his heart, thinking, what's wrong with today's teammates? Normally, they don't like to make fun of me so much. Are you still my teammates? Du Yuan, who was sitting not far from her, looked at him with disgust. She hated people who had no strength but always liked to pretend. She didn't understand how such a person could become their captain. The scene returned to the battle platform. Although Tianyu easily defeated the other captain in seconds, the other people from Shrek were not as relaxed as Tianyu. Since Shrek had 2 auxiliary spirit masters without any combat power, it meant that someone was going to fight 2 people at once. For example, Tang San was fighting 2 people at this time. Relying on the super high agility of the Ghost Shadow Mirage Step and the help of the hidden weapons on his body, Tang San was still able to handle the 2 people with ease, but it only played a role in delaying and consuming. Because Tang San really didn't have any powerful means of attack at the moment. He hadn't created a powerful hidden weapon at this stage. His second martial spirit couldn't be exposed, and the blue-silver grass didn't have any powerful attack spirit rings. Although he couldn't cause any damage to the opponent, there was no problem in delaying it, so all Tang San could do now was to consume it and wait for Tianyu to help the other people of Shrek dissolve their respective opponents before coming to help him. Another person who was fighting 2 people at once was Daimyu. At this time, he was wearing the handguard that Tianyu gave him last time and fighting with 2 level 41 soul masters. Although Daimyu soul power was several levels lower than that of the opponent, with the help of the handguard and the blessing of his martial soul bloodline, Daimyu and the 2 opponents fought back and forth. After dozens of moves, Daimyu also knocked the 2 opponents several meters away with 2 punches. Seeing that they couldn't stand Daimyu, the 2 people also directly released a 4th soul skill. 2 purple soul rings floated up from the feet of the 2 soul masters, Blood Bear Soul Crack Claw and Blood Bear Red Light Wave. In an instant, 2 4th soul skills, 1 slash and 1 wave, hit Daimyu directly. Daimyu would not wait for their attacks. A purple soul ring floated up from Daimyu body. Daimyu roared, "White Tiger Fierce Light Wave." At this moment, his kingly momentum was fully revealed. A white light wave quickly condensed in Daimyu hand and was quickly fired out. The 3 attacks collided directly with each other, directly producing a huge soul power explosion. After the bombardment, Daimyu still stood upright in the same place. Except that his soul power was exhausted and his clothes were torn, he did not look very embarrassed. But the 2 opponents were not so lucky. Daimyu used all his strength in that attack, and directly blasted the 2 opponents off the platform. If they didn't die, they would probably be useless. Tianyu thought, Daimyu current strength is much stronger than in the original novel. Could it be that he is like Tang San, with no woman in his heart and cultivating the god of nature? Although this does not rule out the strong increase of Tianyu's aura, but with a soul master of level 38 soul power fighting 2 soul lords of level 41, there is a difference of 1 realm, that is, 1 soul ring, but Daimyu won and even crippled the opponent. It must be said that Daimyu talent and strength are much stronger than in the original novel. Although Daimyu cross-realm battle against 2 is very cool, it is still not as cool as Tianyu's 2 swords killing the opponent in seconds. Although the average soul power level of Shrek's side is 1 realm less than that of the opponent, what is a genius? What is a monster? A genius is someone who can fight across realms and win the opponent as if it were a daily routine, and can defeat an opponent who is stronger than himself. This is a genius. For example, Tianyu has no problem fighting a title Douluo across levels. This is a genius. So although the other people in Shrek were 1 level lower than their opponents in terms of soul power, they did not seem to be at a disadvantage in the battle, and even suppressed their opponents. For example, Xiao Wu's opponent, Xiao Wu's current soul power level is a soul master of level 36, while her opponent is a soul lord of level 43, and her soul power is 7 levels higher than Xiao Wu. But is it useful? Xiao Wu directly beat her opponent into a cripple within 7 moves. Although the other people in Shrek were not as relaxed as Tianyu and Xiao Wu, they also successfully defeated their respective opponents. Meng Yiren defeated his level 42 opponent with his 3rd soul skill Dark Flame Shadow Slash directly, and the Black Fire Shadow directly burned his opponent into human form. Because Tianyu told Meng Yiren not to hold back, Meng Yiren listened to Tianyu very much and did not hold back. Zhu Zhuqing also cut off her opponent's arms with a purple shadow nether slash, and she did not kill the opponent like Tianyu. Among the Shrek, only the fat man and his opponent had a more difficult fight, because the fat man had just broken through to the Soul Master, and his opponent was a Soul Sect of level 42. After all, the two sides were more than 10 levels apart, so the fat man did not beat the opponent. In the end, it was Zhu Zhuqing and others who had defeated their opponents who took action to defeat his opponent. In the end, there were only 2 members of the Fierce God team left from Tang San's side. Tianyu also went up and sent the last 2 members of the Fierce God team to the west with 2 swords. Book Friends Group 100,861,943, Book Friends Group 100,861,943, Book Friends Group 100,861,943. Chapter 57. The Little Blood Clan can be destroyed with a single move. In the box, Yushai and Heng looked at the battle platform with some surprise, and said, I didn't expect that Shrek would win. And they won so easily. Was the team they defeated really the feared Fierce God team? Yi Lingling said, don't be surprised, Captain Shai and Heng, because Shrek has brother Tianyu, so they can win so easily. Yushai and Heng, really? Did Tianyu just defeat an opponent? Yi Lingling didn't even need to explain to the ignorant captain. Du Yuyan on the side explained, the strength of the Shrek players are all very good, they are all geniuses among geniuses, but their minds are not so good, because they are still young, so it is obvious that they have not undergone psychological training, so they were shocked by the opponent's killing intent at the beginning. If it weren't for Tianyu's magical halo, it's estimated that they would not be able to get rid of the negative effects of the murderous intent for a while. If it weren't for the perverts of the Fierce God team who didn't start attacking immediately in order to tease their opponents, it's conceivable that without Tianyu, the other members of Shrek would have been a group of lambs to be slaughtered. Captain Tian Heng, you are a person who has been trained in this area, how come you don't even understand this principle? Haha. Yu Tian Heng, who was dismantled again, could only laugh to cover up his embarrassment, thinking, today is really embarrassing, fortunately no one saw it. In a room, a middle-aged man with dark red hair and a ferocious face looked at the 9 members of the Fierce God team who were carried in. His face was gloomy and terrible. Because of anger, the violent blood-colored soul power in his body leaked out. From this, it can be seen that this person's realm is definitely not low. 9 soul rings floated up from his feet. The middle-aged man said coldly to the 2 figures in the dark, Bloodstar, Blood Shadow, you 2 go check who Shrek is. How dare he destroy my blood sect disciples? I will make them pay the price. Yes, sir. The 2 figures in the dark responded, and then disappeared into the darkness. Looking at the 9 almost disabled members of the Fierce God team, the middle-aged man just continued to order the people next to him indifferently, take them out and bury them. Although these members of the Fierce God team were his students, they were already disabled, which meant that they had no use, so for him, there was no need for these 9 people to be alive. Although these 9 disciples were also excellent in the blood sect, they were not the most important team. So in the eyes of the middle-aged man, these few wastes who couldn't even beat a few teenagers died, and he didn't feel sorry for them. The middle-aged man sat on the chair and said coldly, Little Shrek, you dare to kill my students. I must sacrifice all of you with blood. How shameless, he buried his own students, huh? Who is talking? The middle-aged man suddenly looked around vigilantly. He didn't know why he felt that someone was scolding him. In the lounge specially designed for the Shrek team in the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena. Brother Tianyu, there was a lot of blood in the battle just now. Meng Yiren was just scared. I want Brother Tianyu to hug and comfort. After saying that, Meng Yiren threw herself directly into Tianyu's arms. Tianyu, who was sitting on the sofa, was also thrown into his arms and couldn't hide. While enjoying the tenderness in his arms, Tianyu also touched Meng Yiren's head and comforted her. It's okay, Brother Tianyu is here. Although he knew that this little girl might be pretending and she might not be afraid at all, seeing that she performed so well, Tianyu decided to give her a little reward. Meng Yiren got the head-patting reward, so Xiao Wu wanted one too. She also moved to the other side of Tianyu, and her cute little head was directly on the other half of Tianyu's shoulder. Tianyu didn't know what Xiao Wu wanted, so he also reached out his hand and gently touched her bunny head. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were a little envious of Xiao Wu and Meng Yiren, who were being patted on the head by Tianyu, because anyone with a discerning eye Shrek could see that they were also interested in Tianyu. But the two of them, one was a shy girl, and the other was a cold goddess in the eyes of everyone. Even though they both had a good impression of Tianyu, they were just embarrassed to express their feelings. After all, they were not like Meng Yiren, who was completely given to Tianyu for free. Tianyu pulled Meng Yiren down from his arms, then stood up, walked straight to Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, stretched out his hands and gently touched their heads, and said in a magnetic voice, "You two have worked hard, and I will reward you both." The two girls blushed instantly, but they did not avoid Tianyu's clutches. Seeing this scene, Fatty Daimyo and others ate a basket of lemons with envy. Daimyo's mentality now is just envy, because he already knows that it is impossible to catch up with Zhu Zhuqing. It is better to practice well or change his target. At least, forget about the team now. In fact, with his handsome face that can kill mortals in seconds, he can get any girl he wants, but they are not as pretty as Zhu Zhuqing and other girls. At this time, the door of the lounge was pushed open and a person walked in. Tianyu saw the person clearly and found that the person was Xiaoji. As soon as Xiaoji met Tianyu, he said to Tianyu, "Mr. Tianyu, the two swords you just used are so handsome. I have never seen such a handsome sword in my life." "Okay, stop flattering me, Xiaoji. If you have something to say, just say it quickly." Tianyu saw Xiaoji's look and knew that he must have something to say. "Mr. Tianyu, to be honest, I do have something to say." After saying that, he found a sofa and sat down. Tianyu also came to sit on the sofa opposite him and said, "Speak. Master Tianyu, do you still remember the fierce god team that you defeated?" "Of course I remember, and then what?" Xiaoji suddenly became serious and said, "Master Tianyu, the blood sect behind the fierce god team is not simple. They have several titled Douluo in public, and most of the disciples in the sect are ruthless and ruthless. They usually do things for revenge and are very insidious, so Master Tianyu, you have to be careful." "That's it," Tianyu just said lightly after listening to the situation of the blood sect. Tianyu's answer made him a little confused. Tianyu replied domineeringly, "What are the little blood sect? If they dare to come, I will destroy them." "Oh, Master Tianyu, they are all sinister people. I'm afraid they will attack your teammates." Tianyu's eyes suddenly became scary, and he said domineeringly, "If they dare to attack my teammates, I will destroy their little blood sect." Tianyu's words were extremely domineering, and Meng Yiren and the other girls looked at him with admiration. The big sect was destroyed at will, and it was for them. Xiaoji looked at Tianyu's domineering and confident look, and he didn't continue to speak. He thought in his heart, the strength of the blood sect is probably only a little weaker than their Xiandao Kingdom fighting soul field, but Master Tianyu said that it would be destroyed at will. I am now more and more shocked by the powerful forces behind Master Tianyu. "Okay, Xiaoji, go and arrange the next battle for me." "Okay, Master Tianyu." He now respects Tianyu more and more. "Mr. Tianyu, I will now introduce you to the second team, the Royal Fighting Team. Book Friends Group. 100,861,943, Book Friends Group. 100,861,943, Book Friends Group. 100,861,943, thanks, Reader 1432323098302808064 gave 588 book coins. Thank you very much. Thanks, Reader 1432323098302808064 gave 1666 book coins. Thank you very much. Thanks, Reader 1432323098302808064 gave 1666 book coins. Thank you very much. Chapter 58 Royal Fighting Team. The second team, the Royal Fighting Team, is the most elite team of the Xiandao Royal Academy. Every member of the team is the most talented and powerful student in the Xiandao Royal Academy. It can be ranked in the top 10 of the strongest teams in the country. The captain of the Royal Fighting Team is Yu Xianheng, who is known as the strongest genius of the Xiandao Royal Academy. He is a strong attack-type soul master. His soul power level is a Soul King of level 54. His martial soul is the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, one of the strongest beast martial souls. It is rumored that the captain of the royal fighting team, Yu Xianheng, is the future heir of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex sect. The deputy captain of the royal fighting team, Du Yan, is a controlled type soul master. His soul power level is a soul king of level 52. His martial soul is the green phosphorus snake king, the granddaughter of the poison sex leader Du Gubo. The only auxiliary soul master of the royal fighting team is a girl named Yi Lingling. Her soul power level is a soul king of level 50. Her martial soul is the very rare nine-hearted begonia martial soul. Oslo, agile attack type soul master, soul power level 51 soul king, martial soul is ghost leopard. Yu Fen, agile attack type soul master, soul power level 51 soul king, martial soul is wind chime bird. Shimo, both are defensive type soul masters, soul power level is level 51 soul king, both martial soul is black tortoise. After listening to Xiaoji's introduction to the royal fighting team, everyone in Shrek except Xianyu was a little surprised. Because the members of this team are all soul kings above level 50, and their age is at most in their early 20s, worthy of being one of the 10 strongest teams in the country. After understanding the strength of the opponent, Daimyo Bei also said to Xianyu, do we really want to fight them? It's not that I'm not confident. The main difference in strength between the two sides is a bit too big. The average level is 2 realms apart. It's a bit reluctant for us to fight them. It's really not Daimyo Bei's fault that he is not confident, because the gap in the soul power level between the two sides is really a bit too big. Moreover, each of the other team members is also a talented child from each sect and family. Unlike the group of reckless men of the Fierce God team, they are more knowledgeable about teamwork and cooperation. In addition, the people of Shrek have just finished fighting with the Fierce God team, and they have not recovered from their physical and mental exhaustion. Even if Shrek is in full condition, it may not be able to beat the royal fighting team. At least for now, Shrek and others cannot beat the opponent, but it may not be certain in the future. Xianyu nodded, just thinking that today will end like this, and then go home to hug Xiao and Meng Yiren to sleep. A familiar voice sounded in Xianyu's mind. Ling. Triggering the system task. System task. One person singles out 7 people from the royal fighting team and wins. Task reward, unknown. Looking at the task issued by the system, Xianyu thought to himself, I have to fight this time. Okay, I accept the task. By the way, the system, take a look at my system panel. Ling. System panel. System, Super God Evolution Replica System Host, Dongfang Xianyu Age. 13 Soul Power Level, Level 42 Soul Sect. Martial Soul, Blue Silver Emperor, Super God Evolution, Clear Sky Hammer, Super God Evolution, Golden Holy Dragon, Super God Evolution, Light Holy Dragon, Super God Evolution, Dark Holy Dragon, Super God Evolution. Unfused Martial Soul, 6 Winged Angel, 7 Killing Sword, Bone Dragon, Evil Eye White Tiger, Evil Fire Phoenix. Soul Bone, a full set of Ancient Magic Dragon Soul Bones. Soul Weapons, Ancient Magic Dragon Sword, Ancient Magic Dragon Kai. Demon Generals. 500. Xianyu looked at the system thoughtfully and said, I still have so many martial souls that have not been fused. I have to choose a time to fuse them all first. Xianyu said to Xiaoji, go and arrange the next match for me. It's the royal fighting team. Xiaoji didn't ask more questions like last time, but quickly went to arrange it for Xianyu. When the other people in Shrek were about to ask Xianyu first explained to them why he asked Xiaoji to arrange the royal fighting team for them. After listening to Xianyu's explanation, everyone in Shrek understood why Xianyu insisted on fighting the royal fighting team, and they even thought that Xianyu's idea was too crazy. Royal fighting side. After receiving the news that their next match would be against the Shrek team, Yu Xianheng was also shocked and said, oh? This Shrek actually dares to challenge us? Do they really think that my royal fighting team is the same as those useless people in the Fierce God team? Osro said, what? Our next opponent is Shrek? I remember that after the last match, the soul power of all members was exhausted. It hasn't been long since they finished fighting, and they are fighting again, and against us. Yu Feng said, I don't know what they are thinking. When Yi Lingling heard that Shrek would play against them in the next match, she was also surprised and said, the next match is the Shrek team. Does that mean that Brother Xianyu will be on the opposite side? Oh, Brother Xianyu is so powerful. Will she hurt him? The royal fighting team selectively ignored Yi Lingling, this infatuated girl. The two brothers Shimo and Shimo pounded their muscular chests and said, haha, Shrek really dares to challenge us now. Maybe in a few years, they will really have the ability to challenge us, but now, they are still too young. Now, only the black dragon's strength among them can barely catch our attention. His sword is quite powerful, but I don't know if it can break the defense of two of us brothers. Hearing someone saying bad things about his little brother Xianchen, Yi Lingling immediately said, what do you mean that little brother Xianyu is barely worthy of your attention? Little brother Xianyu is only 13 years old and his soul power is already at the 40th level of Soul Master. Now you are just taking advantage of your higher soul power than little brother Xianyu. Let little brother Xianyu grow a few more years, and then his soul power level will definitely crush you too. By then, little brother Xianyu's sword will cut you just like cutting the captain of the fierce god team, with only 2 swords. Shimo and Shimo were speechless by Yi Lingling, the little girl who was protecting her child. Du Yuyan didn't say anything, but was just thinking about something. Chapter 59, on the verge of breaking out. Tonight, a piece of explosive news spread throughout the entire Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena. Because tonight, the strongest team in their Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena, the Shrek team, will have a team battle with the top 10 strongest teams in the country, the Royal Fight. Once this news spread, it attracted the attention of many people. After all, it is not so easy to encounter a team battle between the top 10 teams in the country, and it is a battle with the Shrek team, which is currently in the limelight. At this time, the Soto City Fighting Spirit Arena was also full of spectators. They all came to watch the battle between the Shrek team and the Royal Fighting Team, and there were also some fanatical fans of the Royal Fighting Team. The Royal Fighting Team will win. The Royal Fighting Team is the strongest. You Xianheng, I love you. Shrek is the worst. But don't you look at where this is. This is Soto City. Most of the spectators here are fans of the Shrek team. Team Shrek will win. Shrek is the best, no objections. Team Wangdao is a bunch of rubbish. Goddess Rongrong, come on. Goddess Xianyu, I love you. The voices supporting Wangdao were instantly suppressed by those supporting Shrek. Soon Shrek and the others and the members of the Wangdao team all came on the field. When the two teams were in opposition, a light figure suddenly rushed towards Xianyu from the Wangdao team's formation. Tianyu thought the opponent was going to launch a sneak attack, so he was about to stop him, but Xianyu raised his hand to stop him. Soon the light figure came in front of Xianyu and then stopped. Xianyu saw that the other party was a beautiful girl, and he said seriously, I wonder what this lady wants. Yi Lingling said excitedly, Brother Xianyu, I am your little fangirl, can you give me an autograph? After that, she looked at Xianyu with expectant eyes, thinking, looking at Brother Xianyu up close, I feel that Brother Xianyu is even more handsome. Xianyu was stunned for 0.01 seconds, and quickly replied in a magnetic voice, sure. After hearing Xianyu say yes, Yi Lingling quickly took out paper and pen from the soul guide and handed them to Xianyu. Xianyu took the pen and quickly wrote his name on the paper, Dongfang Xianyu, and then handed it back to Yi Lingling. When Yi Lingling reached out to take it, he accidentally touched Xianyu's hand. Yi Lingling also quickly moved his hand away, but his face was a little red. After seeing this, Xianyu thought to himself, this girl is so sensitive, interesting. Yi Lingling looked at the words written by Xianyu and thought to herself, Brother Xianyu's handwriting is so beautiful, and it turns out that Brother Xianyu's surname is Dongfang. Thank you, Brother Xianyu, I will definitely take it back and keep it well. Also, Brother Xianyu, my name is Yi Lingling, don't hurt me when we fight later. Okay, I'll be gentle later. Yi Lingling, who got Xianyu's autograph, then jumped back to her team happily. Seeing that the other members of the royal fighting team had black lines on their faces, she shouted in her heart, this girl is hopeless. The audience on the stage originally thought that it would be a member of the royal fighting team who would launch a sneak attack, but it turned out that Yi Lingling from the royal fighting team was Xianyu's little fangirl, which made them quite disappointed. They thought there would be a good show to watch. On the Shrek team side, Tianyu put one hand on Xianyu's shoulder and said, Xianyu, you actually have such a beautiful fangirl, I'm so envious. Xianyu said, Old Dai, you are envious of your ass, don't you have a fangirl yourself? Hearing what Xianyu said, Tianyu cried directly, Tianyu, you are so ashamed to say that. All my fangirls were taken away by you, and I don't have any fangirls now. Tianyu pushed Tianyu away and said, Old Dai, I can't do anything about this. Who told me to be more handsome than you? Tianyu was directly blocked by Tianyu's words. This can only be blamed on him for not being as handsome as Tianyu, and his strength is not as strong as Tianyu. It seems that it is not Tianyu's fault. Then Tianyu jumped off the battle platform with a depressed mood, and then the other people from Shrek also jumped off the battle platform, leaving only Tianyu standing on the platform. This operation of Shrek not only confused the audience on the stand, but also confused the people of the Royal Fighting Team. Tianyu also said directly to the people of the Royal Fighting Team, no need to watch, my teammates are tired, I asked them to go back and rest, so I will take on this battle myself. The audience was silent for a while, and then they burst into hated movement. They were all shocked that Tianyu was so confident that he wanted to challenge the entire Royal Fighting Team alone. The people of the Royal Fighting Team were obviously stunned for a while, and then they all laughed out loud. Yu Xianheng was covering his mouth at this time to prevent himself from laughing. Yu Xianheng said, I'm sorry, our team has received professional training. Generally, we don't laugh unless we can't help it, ha ha ha. Except for Yu Lingling and Du Yuyan, the members of the entire Royal Fighting Team were basically laughing at Tianyu's overestimation of his own abilities. Seeing them laughing, Tianyu also laughed, but his laugh was a sneer. Tianyu's eyes suddenly changed, and he said, are you a bunch of trash afraid? Hearing Tianyu calling them trash, several passionate young men of the Royal Fighting Team instantly released their martial spirits, except for Yu Lingling and Du Yuyan. The 5 boys of the Royal Fighting Team were all 5 soul-ringed Soul Kings, and each of them had a black 10,000-year soul ring. The momentum they burst out was also incomparable to the group of people in the previous Fierce God team. Because the gap between Soul King and Soul Lord is very large, not to mention that they are all elites among Soul Kings, much stronger than ordinary Soul Kings. Yu Xianheng laughed cruelly and said, you are so arrogant, then let our Royal Fighting Team deal with you. Then a purple soul ring rose from Yu Xianheng's feet. The 4th soul skill, Thunder Fury. A thunder like the roar of Thor began to condense directly from the top of the battle platform, and then instantly struck. Yu Xianheng was quite confident about this attack. He could guarantee that Tianyu would be crippled if not killed by this attack. But he would know in a moment that Tianyu's true strength would make them all fall into despair. Tianyu slowly raised his hand, and the dark holy dragon martial spirit began to possess his body from the soles of his feet, and the dark sword appeared in his hand. Tianyu held the black sword in his hand, swung it lightly, and slashed it out. The dark sword light collided with the violent blue thunder, and the violent thunder was instantly defeated by the dark sword light. Then, the dark sword light, which had nothing to block it, flew directly to the ceiling of the fighting arena, splitting a long crack in the huge ceiling of the fighting arena. Chapter 60 Twin Martial Spirits. Tianyu's sword directly shocked the people who attacked the Royal Fighting Team. Because they had watched Tianyu kill the captain of the Fierce God team in the box before, they could not directly feel the horror of Tianyu's 2 swords, but now they finally felt it. Looking at Tianyu holding the black sword, Yu Xianheng's eyes gradually became serious, and then he said to several teammates around him, prepare for the 5th soul skill, this black dragon is not that simple. Then a black soul ring floated under his feet first, and Oslo and Yufang beside him also floated a black soul ring under their feet. They all became serious. A thunder that was dozens of times more violent than the previous attack began to condense in Yu Xianheng's hands. Dragon's Destruction Lightning. A long thunder light wave shot directly at Tianyu. Wherever the violent thunder light wave passed, cracks were blown out on the floor of the battle platform. Along with the thunder light, there was also the 5th soul skill of the Ghost Leopard Oslo, Ghost Shadow Dark Destruction Slash. A long dark elemental blade slashed directly at Tianyu. The last one to follow was Fangling Neo Yufang's Wind Shadow Kill. 3 destructive 5th soul skills hit Tianyu directly. The special effects of these soul skills directly covered the entire fighting soul platform, and the audience on the stage were dizzy. Although these ability light effects are beautiful, the power contained in them is also very terrifying. This blow is enough to kill those newly promoted Soul Emperors in seconds. Watching these attacks hitting Tianyu, Xianyu's fangirl Yulingling was a little worried and was ready with his 9-heart begonia martial soul at any time. If Xianyu had any accidents, she could immediately help Xianyu with treatment. At the same time, the fans of Xianyu on the audience stage were also worried. Although they absolutely believed in Xianyu, when they saw such a strong soul skill hitting Xianyu, they still unconsciously worried about Xianyu. Although these attacks were very strong in the eyes of outsiders, they were just a few colorful energies in Xianyu's eyes. Xianyu placed his hand lightly on the hilt of the black sword, and then slashed out with his sword. This time, he slightly increased the force. A dark sword beam directly met the 3/5 soul skills, and the attacks of both sides collided directly. The two attacks lasted for 3 seconds, and everyone's heart was in their throat. But after 3 seconds, the attacks of the 3 members of the royal fighting team were gradually defeated and swallowed by the dark sword beam. At the 10th second, the attacks of the 3 members of the royal fighting team were directly broken by Xianyu's dark sword beam, and then the dark sword beam directly slashed at the 3 members of the royal fighting team. Several people in the royal fighting team were shocked, and when the dark sword beam was about to hit them, 2 voices rang out, "Do you think that the 2 of us brothers don't exist?" 2 purple soul rings rose from under the feet of the graphite millstone, the 4th soul skill, the spiritual shield. Then 2 huge energy tortoise shells blocked Yu Xianheng and the others. The pitch-black sword light slashed directly on the energy tortoise shell. When the pitch-black sword light slashed on the tortoise shell, it only caused a ripple, and then the tortoise shell shattered. Yu Xianheng and the others behind were not injured at all. Yu Xianheng gasped for breath. The sword just now almost scared them to death. If the sword just now slashed on them, they would be crippled if not dead. But the arrogant Yu Xianheng still refused to accept and said, "Waste black dragon, you can only use your strange black sword. If you have the ability, don't use that black sword." Hearing Yu Xianheng's idiotic speech, Xianyu sneered and said, "It seems that you still don't accept it. Then, I will let you see what the real dragon martial spirit is." Hearing what Xianyu said, Yu Xianheng didn't know why he had an ominous premonition. Xianyu ordered the system in his heart, "System, fuse the Thunder Tyrannosaurus Rex martial spirit for me, and perform Super God Evolution." The Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul was ordered by Xianyu to be replicated by the system when he saw Yu Xianheng for the first time when he just came on the field. Xianyu also chose not to pretend, and now he is going to fuse his 6th Super God level martial soul. Ling. The top East martial soul, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul, is undergoing Super God Evolution. Ling. The Super God Evolution of the top East martial soul, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul, is complete. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Super God level martial soul, the ultimate proud 9-layered Thunder Emperor Holy Dragon. Ling. The martial spirit is in the process of fusion. Boom. The violent sacred thunder power surged wildly in Xianyu's body. The terrifying thunder power directly blasted through the ceiling of the fighting spirit field, but did not hurt anyone else, because the range of this thunder was only where Xianyu was. At this time, Xianyu was bathed in thousands of sacred thunders, like the god of thunder, and the sacred appearance made the goddesses present crazy. But at this time, Yu Xianheng was scared to death, because they didn't know what Xianyu was going to do at all. But fear often comes from the unknown. The thunder around Xianyu gradually began to gather in Xianyu's body, and behind Xianyu, a phantom of a dragon gradually began to condense. This scene shocked everyone present, saying that they had seen a god, and the most shocked person among them was Yu Xianheng. Yu Xianheng's pupils shrank sharply, because he felt a breath of his Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex from the phantom of the dragon behind Xianyu. Yu Xianheng felt something was wrong. Although the shadow of the dragon had the aura of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex, the blood power was much stronger than that of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. The noble and powerful blood power was not comparable to that of his Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. After a few seconds, the shadow of the dragon behind Xianyu finally condensed, and a huge azure dragon appeared in front of everyone. In the mighty dragon head, a pair of dragon pupils that seemed to have thousands of thunders dancing in them were staring at everyone. Just one look was intimidating. A pair of azure dragon horns stood upright on the dragon head. The huge and slender dragon body was surrounded by terrifying thunder, and the blue dragon scales were also full of mysterious lightning-shaped patterns. There were 5 blue and sharp dragon claws on the 4 thick and powerful dragon claws. Even more powerful were the 2 huge dragon feathers behind the dragon body. The open blue dragon feathers were like a blue barrier covering the sky and the sun. Although it is somewhat similar to the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul, it is more than 1 level more handsome than the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex martial soul. Not only in appearance, but also in the noble temperament that people can feel, it is far better than the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex. There is no comparison at all. After the people in the audience admired the dragon, they were horrified to think of one thing, that is, Tianyu actually has a second martial soul. Chapter 61 Triple Divine Thunder. After appreciating the dragon spirit, the audience finally realized it. Fuck. I didn't expect Black Dragon to have a twin spirit. It's so well hidden. He hasn't used it in so many games before. Maybe Black Dragon is too low-key. There are only 3 twin spirit geniuses in the Empire right now. I didn't expect to witness another hidden twin spirit today. Both spirits are the strongest dragon spirits. This is much more valuable than other twin spirit owners. Tianyu, the twin spirit male god, looks even more handsome. I love it, our twin spirits rare. A spirit rookie with a very low soul power level in the audience said. The young man immediately replied, it's not a question of whether it's rare or not. He is just that kind of, very handsome, very invincible. In fact, not only the people in the audience were shocked, but also the people in Shrek were also confused, although they all knew that Tianyu was the owner of a twin spirit. But I didn't expect Tianyu to have a third martial soul. Does that mean that Tianyu is likely to have a 4th or 5th martial soul? Everyone in Shrek thought so. Even Xiao Wu, who has been with Tianyu for the longest time, doesn't know how many martial souls Tianyu has. Xiao Wu has only seen Tianyu release 5 martial souls, but the martial soul that Tianyu is releasing now is also the first time Xiao Wu has seen it. Could it be that his martial soul is awakened on the spot? Xiao Wu thought so. On the battle platform, although Yu Xianheng is now scared to death and has no confidence in his heart, he still said stubbornly, so what if you have twin martial souls? You can't break the defense of Shimo and Shimo. Tianyu didn't reply to him, but a black soul ring floated up from under his feet, and then Tianyu slowly raised one hand and said, Triple Divine Thunder. 3 terrifying divine thunders began to condense beside Tianyu. Sensing the horror of the divine thunder, the brothers Shimo and Shimo exchanged glances immediately, and then 2 black soul rings quickly rose under their feet. The 2 brothers shouted together, Martial Soul Fusion Skill, Vajra Immortal Black Tortoise Shield. Effect, invincible for 5 seconds. When Yu Xianheng thought of the effect of the martial soul fusion skills of the brothers Shimo and Shimo, he immediately felt that he was good again, and said arrogantly, ha ha ha. The martial soul fusion skill of Shimo and Shimo is invincible for 5 seconds. No matter how powerful your soul skills are, it is impossible to break the martial soul fusion skill of Shimo and Shimo. Tianyu shook his finger and said, invincible? That's just the invincibility in your concept. In my eyes, it's invalid. Then 3 divine thunders shot directly at Yu Xianheng and others. Looking at the divine thunder shooting at them, Yu Xianheng still looked confident. When the first divine thunder hit the shield directly, his eyes were immediately filled with horror. Because the martial soul fusion skills of the brothers Shimo and Shimo were actually cracked directly under Tianyu's first divine thunder. Yu Xianheng immediately panicked and said, how can it be? How is it possible? Isn't the martial soul fusion skill of Shimo and Shimo invincible? At this time, the 2 brothers Shimo and Shimo were also confused. Because in their thousands of battles, the martial soul fusion skills of the 2 brothers have always been invincible. No matter how high the attack of the opponent's team is, they can defend it unscathed within 5 seconds. Why is it ineffective in Tianyu's hands? Their cognition was instantly overturned. Tianyu said slowly, I said, that's just the self-proclaimed invincibility in your eyes. In my eyes, it's invalid. Then the second thunderbolt hit directly, and the martial soul fusion skills of the 2 brothers Shimo and Shimo were directly shattered into pieces under the second thunderbolt. Without the protection of the shield, Yu Xianheng and others were completely desperate, because the 2 brothers Shimo and Shimo had exhausted their soul power after using the martial soul fusion skills, and now they are in a state of exhaustion of soul power for the whole team. Tianyu didn't give them a chance to talk nonsense, and directly hit the last thunderbolt, and Yu Xianheng and the other 5 were instantly killed by this thunderbolt. Xianyu didn't kill them, nor did he cripple them, because there was really no deep hatred between the two sides, and it was enough to teach them a lesson. I hope they can be more polite when they see Xianyu next time, and don't act so high and mighty. Xianyu hates this the most. Throughout the battle, Du Yuan and Yilingling didn't intervene at all, but just watched quietly from the side. Yilingling only started to use soul skills to heal after Yu Xianheng was defeated. Xianyu put his hands in his pockets, ready to die in style, but he seemed to have thought of something, and turned back to Yilingling and said, "Lingling, if you are interested, you can come to our Shrek. Shrek welcomes cute girls at any time." After saying that, I jumped off the battle platform and went to find Shrek and others. Yilingling stood there thinking. In the lounge of Shrek, as soon as Xianyu entered the door, Meng Yiren threw herself into Xianyu's arms again. She was sure that Xianyu would not dodge, so she dared to rush forward so confidently. Facts proved that Xianyu really would not dodge. Xianyu could only reluctantly reach out and hug Meng Yiren, who was hanging on him. As soon as Meng Yiren entered Xianyu's arms, he said in a tender voice, "Brother Xianyu, your new form just now is so handsome." Yining was stunned. Each of Xianyu's new martial souls is a separate form. Daimyobe also asked, "Xianyu, how many martial souls do you have left? Tell us everything." Xianyu hugged Meng Yiren and sat down on the sofa, and said perfunctorily, "Not many, just a few dozen." Daimyobe's face was full of black lines, and then he said, "If you don't want to tell, then don't tell. Anyway, you will definitely reveal it in the future." Meng Yiren said in a tender voice in Xianyu's arms, "Brother Xianyu, how many martial souls do you have left?" Yining also wants to know. Xianyu leaned close to her ear and exhaled, "I'll tell you when we return to the academy and go to bed at night." Meng Yiren blushed because of the hot air exhaled by Xianyu, and he softened directly in Xianyu's arms. After a while, Zioji pushed the door open again and came in. As soon as he entered, he started to flatter Xianyu and said, "Mr. Xianyu, you looked so handsome when you took on 7 people just now." But Xianyu interrupted him directly, "Stop. I don't like to people flattering me." Zioji immediately said with a bitter face, "Mr. Xianyu, I am telling the truth. Who among the people present didn't think you looked handsome when you challenged the entire royal fighting team just now? And Xianyu, the news that you took on 7 people from the royal fighting team tonight and that you have twin martial spirits will surely spread throughout the empire after tonight. You must be prepared to become famous." Xianyu felt a headache when he heard Zioji say this. As the saying goes, the more famous you are, the more trouble you will have. At that time, he was afraid that some blind troublemakers would come to him. Although Xianyu was not afraid of those troubles, he mainly didn't like to be disturbed from his current leisurely state. Others didn't know what Xianyu was thinking, so Zioji continued, "Master Xianyu, do you want to continue the third battle?" Xianyu waited for a while, and when he found that the system did not show the task prompt again, he said, "No, let's stop here today. My teammates haven't recovered yet. To be honest, I'm also very tired now." After that, he buried his head in Meng Yiren's arms and fell asleep. The author is stupid. Before writing this chapter, the author forgot that the character Yu Fang was by Cheng Xiang, one of the heroines in the original book. It was too late when he found out. The protagonist was going to recruit Bai Cheng Xiang later, so Yu Fang in this book is a separate character. He is a man and has nothing to do with Bai Cheng Xiang. In fact, the author can go back to the previous chapters and change Yu Fang's name, but it's a bit troublesome. If the book friends think it still doesn't work, I will change it again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62, Godly Demon General. Inside Shrek Academy. In Xianyu's dormitory, Xianyu was lying on the bedboard. The other people in Shrek went to practice. Xianyu made an excuse that he had not recovered the energy he consumed in the last challenge against the 7 emperors, so he did not go to training. Master and others clearly saw that Xianyu was still full of energy before training. When he heard that he was going to train, he began to pretend that his soul power was exhausted. Master and others were embarrassed to expose his poor acting skills, so they simply ignored him. Tianyu, who was lying on the bed, had a thought and entered the spirit world directly. Tianyu stretched his muscles and said, "Anyway, I'm idle, so I might as well open the last system reward and fuse a few super god level martial spirits to play with." System girl. Ling. I'm here, host. Receive the last task reward. Ling. Receive the task reward. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the super god level martial spirit destruction dragon god. Super god evolution is not allowed, Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the full set of destruction soul bone. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 god level martial soul evolution cards, invalid for the host, Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 10 soul bone creation cards, invalid for the host, god level demon generals x10. Tianyu was a little shocked when he saw the task rewards listed by the system. He didn't expect that there would be so many rewards he had never seen before in this task reward. He said it was worth it. System, what does this super god level martial soul mean? Ling. Super god level martial soul is a martial soul that is one level higher than the super god level martial soul. I can see it, but the quality is too perfunctory. System, what is this martial soul evolution card? Ling. The host can perform a martial soul evolution for the designated person, and any quality martial soul can evolve into god level martial soul. Oh. Not bad, this is what I need right now. I can give it to Xiao Wu and the others to let their martial spirits evolve into god level martial spirits. System, where's this soul bone creation card? Ling. The host can create soul bones for the designated person, and a growth type soul bone that best matches the designated person will be automatically generated in the body of the designated person. This can also be used by Xiao Wu and the others. I'm worried about not finding a suitable soul bone for them. System, what about this god level demon general? Ling. Randomly generate a demon god level demon general of level 100 to level 140. Demon god level demon general? This should be the real god level demon general after breaking through level 99. Tianyu has seen the strength of a true god level person. The best example is the silver dragon king Guyuna. Her original strength should be at the peak of the first level god, although she has only recovered half of her strength. Tianyu once asked his 10 strongest 99th level gods to fight against Guyuna. As a result, Guyuna defeated his 10 99th level demons in seconds with just one move. This is the terrifying strength after reaching the divine realm. I don't know how Guyuna's strength has recovered now. When he came back from the Xingdao Great Forest, Tianyu originally wanted Guyuna to become a member of Shrek, so that he could have an identity in the human world. But she refused on the grounds that her strength had not fully recovered. Tianyu also gave her the main spiritual world to restore her strength, and asked her to stay in it to restore her strength and come out when she recovered. After that, Tianyu never saw Guyuna again. He could only sense that the spiritual power in the main spiritual world was madly lost every day. Fortunately, the spiritual power recovery speed of the main spiritual world was also very fast. Otherwise, when Guyuna recovered her strength, Tianyu's spiritual power in the main spiritual world would probably be sucked dry by Guyuna. Tianyu has also recently sensed that the spiritual power of the main spiritual world has not continued to drain. If I guessed correctly, Guyuna's strength should have been fully restored. Forget it, summon the demon generals first. System, use 10 divine demon general summoning cards. Ling. The demon general is being summoned. Ling. The demon general has been summoned successfully. Boom. I saw that several huge space cracks were torn in the sky of the spiritual world in an instant, and 10 tall and mighty divine demon generals stepped on the void and flew in the air. In the end, they all landed in front of Tianyu, and then knelt on one knee. The terrifying soul pressure leaked from their bodies was all restrained when they arrived in front of Tianyu. Tianyu thought to himself, it is worthy of being a demon general in the divine realm. Whether it is the appearance or the pressure on the body, it is not comparable to the peak Douluo of level 99. However, these divine demon generals should not be used at present. Check the information. Demon God, Nirvana, Martial Soul, Magic Spear, Soul Level, Level 130, Realm, Initial Stage of First Level God. Demon God, Guiu, Martial Soul, Demon Scythe, Soul Level 121, Realm, Second Level God Early Stage. Demon God, Yuan, Martial Soul, Demon Knife, Soul level. 121, Realm, 2nd level God early stage. Demon God, Yan, Martial Soul, Demon Vine, Soul level. 118, Realm, 3rd level God late stage. Demon God, Yan, Martial Soul, Demon Flame, Soul level. 109, Realm, Priest late stage. Xianyu calculated that among the 10 Demon God level Demon Generals, there was one 1st level Demon General, 2 2nd level Demon Generals, 1 3rd level Demon General, and the remaining Demon Generals were basically all Demon Generals at the Priest level. Although not many, it was enough for Xianyu to have generals available when encountering enemies in the God realm. After all, if Xianyu encountered enemies in the God realm, and Gu Yuna did not take action, Xianyu's ultimate Douluo would be completely giving away the field. Xianyu waved his hand, and except for the 1st level Demon General who stayed, all the other Demon Generals returned to the Demon Army world. Xianyu's mind moved, and he and the Demon General were teleported to the main spirit world. As soon as Xianyu arrived at the main spirit world, he sensed a familiar breath moving quickly towards this position. After a while, a beautiful figure appeared in front of Xianyu. "Do you remember to come and see me?" There was a sense of blame in her tone, but more of it was like the resentment of a little woman. "Haha. I'm not trying to disturb you from recovering your strength." Xianyu naturally heard the complaint in Gu Yuna's tone. Gu Yuna's beautiful eyes suddenly became alert, and she looked at the Demon General behind Xianyu early, because she felt that the strength of the Demon General behind Xianyu was not simple. Xianyu said, "You don't be nervous, this guy is my new little brother." After saying that, he patted the Demon General's shoulder, which was 2 heads taller than him. After listening to Xianyu's explanation, Gu Yuna also looked at Xianyu in shock, as if she was looking at a monster. If a 1st level God said he would take him as a younger brother, who wouldn't be shocked? Xianyu jumped up again and patted the Demon General, saying, "Don't look so stern, smile for Nana." The Demon General absolutely obeyed Xianyu's orders, and also grinned, but that smile was something that only those who understood would understand. Gu Yuna was very upset by the actions of Xianyu and the Demon General, and thought to herself, where did Xianyu find such an obedient younger brother? Chapter 63, The Battle Between the True God and the Demon God. Ahem. "You can you do me a favor?" Xianyu asked. "What favor?" Gu Yuna asked in confusion. After all, what else did Xianyu need her for? "Can you fight my Demon General? I want to see how strong my new little brother is. Is that okay?" "Nana." "Oh, I can, but I might accidentally cripple him. You won't blame me, will you?" Xianyu waved his hand and said, "You please don't show any mercy. Use all your strength. Don't let her go." After all, it wasn't Xianyu himself who was beaten. Then Xianyu gave the Demon General an order, "Jimmy, go fight her. Nana is very strong, so you should fight with all your strength. Don't be polite." The Demon General nodded, and came to a huge plain in the spirit world with Gu Yuna. The destructive power of their level of fighting was very terrifying, so after the 2 of them finished fighting, the spirit world might have to enter a period of repair. The Demon General looked at Gu Yuna floating in the air not far away, his eyes full of fighting spirit. This was their nature as Demon Generals, that is, to fight with the strong and become stronger in battle. The Demon General was also the first to attack, and the martial spirit magic spear was instantly launched, and a black dragon wrapped around the magic spear instantly stabbed Gu Yuna. Gu Yuna just dodged lightly and avoided the Demon General's attack. The Demon General's shot directly hit the mountains behind Gu Yuna, and directly penetrated dozens of 10,000-meter-high mountains behind. Xianyu watched with great interest, thinking, this is what a real battle is. A casual attack destroyed dozens of mountains. The battle platform and ceiling that were destroyed in the battle with the royal fighting team are just like children playing house compared to this level of battle. So my current strength is not strong enough. I can't indulge in the beauty of a few women anymore. I have to keep working hard to become stronger, otherwise I won't be able to beat even my own brothers. Seeing that the attack missed, the Demon General began to take it seriously. A red soul ring rose from the Demon General's feet, and the red-black gun in the Demon General's hand began to shine with a terrifying red light. 5th soul skill, Red Blood Dragon Soul Demon Gun Kill. A strike shining with a terrifying red light directly attacked Gu Yuna. Facing this attack, Gu Yuna also began to take it seriously. The Silver Dragon King martial spirit possessed her, and a golden soul ring rose from her feet. Elemental Spear. Instantly, an elemental spear formed by the soul power of 7 elemental laws appeared in front of Gu Yuna. Gu Yuna gently grasped the elemental spear and then threw it out. The elemental spear shot quickly in the air towards the direction of the demon general, and finally confronted the demon general's flame spear fiercely. However, the moment the flame spear touched the elemental spear, it was defeated by the powerful elemental spear and then shot directly at the demon general. The demon general found that he could not avoid this spear, and he also quickly activated the 6th soul skill, Golden Flame Demon Armor. The Golden Flame Demon Armor could make the demon general instantly obtain a soul armor with a defense power multiplied by 20 times the defense power. But it didn't work. The elemental spear still directly penetrated the magic armor, and the demon general was also smashed directly to the ground by the power of the elemental spear. When the smoke dissipated, the whole body of the demon general was embedded in the ground, without any movement, and there was a big hole in the right chest. Just when Gu Yuna thought that the demon general was so weak, the demon general's eyes suddenly lit up and he was ejected directly from the ground into the air. The hole in the demon general's chest was healing at an astonishing speed, and it disappeared in a short while. This terrifying recovery ability made Gu Yuna a little confused. If she had this recovery ability, she wouldn't have to heal under the fountain of life for so long. Tianyu was not surprised at all, but continued to watch with relish not far away, because the super healing ability was only the basic talent of the demon general. The demon general's stronger talent was to fight more bravely, and the demon general had already entered this state. A red soul ring floated up beside the demon general, and the demon general roared, the true form of the demon spear. Boom! The demon general directly entered another form. Whether it was the armor on his body or the magic spear in his hand, it was obvious that they became more domineering and powerful. At this time, the demon general's eyes were also emitting red magic flames. Another red soul ring rose from the demon general's feet, and the demon general said, the 8th soul skill, the Thunder Wrath Demon Spear. As the soul ring rose, the terrifying violent red thunder attached to the magic spear. The demon general directly attacked Gu Yuna again with a magic spear. In Gu Yuna's eyes, the strength shown by the demon general was already very good, at least much stronger than those first-level gods in the god realm, but compared to her, it was still far behind. After all, the realm was there. An elemental spear with the same terrifying thunder law also appeared in front of Gu Yuna. Gu Yuna's mind moved, and the elemental thunder spear directly shot at the demon general who was attacking with the spear. The demon general roared, and with one shot, he smashed the thunder spear shot by Gu Yuna into elemental fragments, and then continued to attack Gu Yuna with a gun. Gu Yuna was still calm, and condensed 3 elemental thunder spears around her again, and then shot at the demon general again. The demon general roared and smashed the first 2 elemental lightning spears, but was hit by the 3rd elemental lightning spear. After being hit by the elemental lightning spear, the demon general's body was directly electrocuted for a few tenths of a second. But in these few tenths of a second, Gu Yuna condensed lightning spears again, but this time she condensed 10 lightning spears, and they all shot at the demon general quickly. After the demon general's body was freed from the paralysis effect, he quickly resisted, but only shattered 3 lightning spears. The remaining 7 lightning spears still hit the demon general directly. The demon general's body was shot to the ground again, and there were several more holes on his body from the bombardment of lightning spears, and then there was no movement. Just when Gu Yuna thought it was really over this time. But the demon general's eyes lit up again, and the holes on his body healed again at a speed visible to the naked eye, and healed again in a short while. Looking at the demon general who stood up again, Gu Yuna was already numb, and thought to herself, is this thing a thing that can't be killed? This time she will definitely not hold back. Ah! After the recovery, a soul ring floated up from the body of the demon general again, but this time the color of the soul ring was golden. The demon general roared, 9th soul skill, the world-destroying angry demon spear. The demon general held the magic spear in his hand and attacked Gu Yuna directly. When attacking Gu Yuna, the magic spear directly transformed into a huge magic spear in the air. Wherever the magic spear passed, cracks appeared in the space of the spirit world. This powerful attack was enough to kill an ordinary first-level god in seconds, but Gu Yuna was not an ordinary first-level god. A golden soul ring rose from Gu Yuna's feet. Gu Yuna said, elemental fission. An energy condensed by the power of many elements instantly appeared in Gu Yuna's hand. Gu directly used the soul skill, and the terrifying energy blasted cracks in the space of the spirit world. The power was much greater than that of the demon general. The result was indeed that when the elemental fission collided with the demon general's gun, the demon general's huge magic gun was directly smashed into pieces. Without the obstruction of the magic gun, the energy directly hit the demon general, and the demon general was knocked to the ground again. The demon general lay on the ground for several minutes, still without any movement, but he was not dead. He was still breathing, but his injuries were too severe to recover quickly. After confirming that the demon general would not get up again, Gu also breathed a sigh of relief and floated back to Xianyu's side. At this time, Xianyu looked at the situation in the spirit world and his face was also black. It would take some time for the spirit world to recover. After all, the space was pierced. "It's all your fault," Xianyu said, and then pinched Gu's face. Gu was pinched and confused, thinking, "Didn't you ask me to hit you?" Chapter 64 Chaos Dragon. Xianyu sat on the ground, looking at his spiritual world with a sense of despair, while Gu sat quietly beside him. "Yuir, can you step back for a while? I want to do something," Xianyu suddenly said to Gu who was sitting next to him. Gu said, "What's the matter? Do you have any secrets that you don't want me to know? Can't you let me see it?" The more Xianyu didn't want her to see it, the more curious Gu became. Xianyu stood up and said, "It's not a secret. Yuir, you can see it if you want. Then tell me what you are going to do." Gu also stood up from the ground. Nothing, just awakening a few martial spirits for fun." After hearing what Xianyu said, Gu also looked at Xianyu with a strange look, and then stretched out her jade hand to touch Xianyu's forehead, and then asked in confusion, "You don't have a fever?" Xianyu looked at Gu's actions and his face was black. It seemed that Gu thought that his brain was burned out, so she said such nonsense. Xianyu held Gu's hand on his forehead, and said seriously, "Yuir, don't you believe it?" Although she looked at Xianyu's serious face, Gu still shook her head to show her disbelief. "Since you don't believe it, Yuir, how about we make a bet?" "What's the bet?" Gu also became interested, so she planned to play with Xianyu. Anyway, Xianyu would not win. "The bet is that if you win, Yuir, I can agree to any conditions you want," Xianyu said straightforwardly, but the sly smile at the corner of his mouth still proved that his real intention was not good. "Then, what if you win?" "Me? If I win, you just need to kiss me." Xianyu, you are vulgar." Xianyu was not happy to be called vulgar, and provoked, "Why am I vulgar?" Or, "Yuir, you, don't dare." What am I afraid of? "Let's bet, you won't win anyway." Gu also bet that Xianyu would not win. After all, who can awaken the martial spirit again after awakening the martial spirit? Even their gods can't do this. "Then you have to watch carefully," Xianyu said and posed, and then asked the system to awaken his martial spirit in his mind. "I want to see how long you can pretend, and be prepared to accept my punishment later," Gu said angrily. But as soon as she finished speaking, she felt something was wrong, and she teleported 1,000 meters away with a thought. Xianyu's body instantly burst out with terrifying energy, and Xianyu was now wrapped in a black power and floating in the air. The ground beneath his feet was completely destroyed by the black energy. Wherever the black energy passed, the ground in the spirit world was turned into powder that was almost invisible to the naked eye. The towering trees in the spirit world were also unable to escape the erosion of the black energy. 1,000-meter tall towering tree was only touched by the black energy, and it instantly turned into a ball of colorless powder, which was gently blown away by the wind. The sacred mountains and lakes in the spirit world were also unable to escape the erosion of the dark energy. Wherever the dark energy passed, nothing was left. These things almost instantly destroyed vitality and energy. And this energy almost spread to the entire spirit world with Xianyu as the center. Looking at the spreading black energy, Gu also teleported to a place farther away from Xianyu, because Gu actually felt threatened by those black abilities. Looking at Xianyu's current state, Gu thought to herself, "What is Xianyu doing? Isn't he really awakening his martial soul?" Gu knew that the more powerful the martial soul, the more exaggerated the vision will be when it awakens. She has seen many god-level martial souls in the god realm. Everyone can produce visions when their martial souls awaken, but they are just visions, and there is no substantial energy. But Xianyu's is obviously different. Not only are there strange visions in the spirit world, but the strange energy emitted when awakening is also very terrifying. Even she, a peak god of the first level, will feel threatened. It is conceivable how terrifying the martial soul that Xianyu is about to awaken will be. At this time, the black energy around Xianyu is still increasing, but he can also feel that his body is slowly getting stronger. He also finds that he can slowly control these black energies. A handsome black dragon also began to gradually condense and hover behind him. The process of Xianyu awakening his martial soul lasted for a while. Finally, at the last moment of the awakening of the martial soul, the black power that spread in the spirit world also stopped spreading, and all began to emerge into Xianyu's body. With the influx of huge black energy, Xianyu finally completed the awakening of the super god level martial soul destruction dragon. At this time, Xianyu was floating in the air, and he had entered the state of possession of the martial soul of the destruction dragon. Xianyu's possession state of the destruction dragon martial soul at this time was more handsome than the previous 3 holy dragon martial souls combined. His eyes like black stars stared at the front, and his extremely long black hair also floated leisurely in the air, like a waterfall condensed by black power. When Xianyu's side was no longer surrounded by black energy and calm was restored, Guiyuna also returned to Xianyu's side. Looking at Xianyu's handsome martial soul form at this time, Guiyuna covered her mouth and said in surprise, "Xianyu, have you really awakened a new martial soul?" Seeing Guiyuna's surprised look, Xianyu smiled proudly and said, "How is it? Is my new martial soul very handsome?" Guiyuna shook her head and said, not handsome at all. "Then I'll show you a more handsome one." Xianyu's mind moved, and a super god level martial soul and 6 super god level martial souls all possessed him behind him. Looking at the 7 martial souls behind Xianyu, Guiyuna covered her mouth in surprise again. At this time, Xianyu's state is that 5 handsome and majestic dragons are circling behind him. His left hand is wrapped with a dragon-shaped vine martial soul, and his right hand is holding a magic hammer martial soul. Guiyuna, who had recovered from her shock, also asked, "Xianyu, why do you have so many martial souls? I've said that awakening martial souls is just like playing. If I want, I can now awaken a few more martial souls for you to see." "Xianyu, are you still human?" At this moment, Guiyuna really wanted to dig up Xianyu to see what his body was made of. His body could actually accommodate so many martial souls. If an ordinary person had so many martial souls in his body, he would have exploded and died long ago. Xianyu looked at Guiyuna, who was still thinking, and suddenly smiled evilly. Shouldn't you fulfill the bet?" "Ah. What bet?" Guiyuna said a little dumbfounded. "What other bets can there be?" "Of course, the bet is that you have to kiss me if you lose." At this time, Guiyuna also remembered it. Although she didn't want to admit it, she had to admit it. Guiyuna shyly said, "Xianyu, you close your eyes." Xianyu was delighted and closed his eyes obediently. Guiyuna pouted her pink lips and moved closer and closer to Xianyu's handsome profile. But Xianyu was not willing to just kiss his right cheek. When Guiyuna was about to kiss him, he quickly turned his face away. Then Guiyuna's sweet lips kissed Xianyu's bitch's mouth unexpectedly. Guiyuna, who found something was wrong, quickly separated them. But Xianyu, the bad guy, still tasted the delicious taste for 2 seconds. Guiyuna's eyes were filled with tears at this time, and she was about to cry out of grievance, because that was her first kiss. Guiyuna said angrily, "Xianyu, I will kill you, the bad guy." Xianyu, who realized that something was wrong, also ran away quickly. Although he had just awakened an awesome martial spirit, he still couldn't beat the one he should not beat. Anyway, he had already earned the advantage, so he just ran. Chapter 65 9 Killing Swordbone Dragon. I know I was wrong. Xianyu also begged for mercy after being caught by Guiyuna. Guiyuna rode on Xianyu's back, pressed him under her body, and said angrily, "See if you dare to kiss other girls casually in the future." How could Xianyu run faster than Guiyuna? So he was caught by Guiyuna and then taught a lesson. But how could Xianyu be obedient after being taught a lesson? So he dared to do it again next time, and even plotted in his heart how to take advantage of Guiyuna next time. After a while, if you go out, you may have to wait for a while, because I still have to awaken a few more martial souls. HMPH whatever you want. After saying that, he found a stone to sit down, obviously still angry with Xianyu. Xianyu did not comfort Gu Yuna, who was in a bad mood, but was heartlessly choosing which martial souls to choose for martial soul fusion. These are the three: the 7-killing sword, the bone dragon, and the 6-winged angel. After fusing these 3 martial souls, the martial souls on my body can just make up an integer. Xianyu instructed the system in his heart. System, fuse the 7-killing sword martial soul, super god evolution. Ling. Martial soul, the 7-killing sword is evolving into super god. Ling. Martial soul, the 7-killing sword has completed super god evolution. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a super god level martial soul, the ultimate god-killing 9-killing sword. Ling. Martial soul, the ultimate god-killing 9-killing sword is fusing. Boom. A sword intent that pierced the void instantly rose from Xianyu's body. Gu Yuna, who was standing aside, saw Xianyu awaken his martial soul again. She was no longer as shocked as the first time, but she was still more or less surprised in her heart. Because Xianyu not only awakened a large number of martial souls, but also the quality of the martial souls was very high. At least they were all martial souls of the quality of god-level martial souls or above. There were not many martial souls that surpassed the god-level quality in the entire god realm. Xianyu himself has more super god-level martial souls than the entire god realm combined. It was normal for Gu Yuna to be shocked when she saw Xianyu awaken the Destruction Dragon martial soul, because the quality of that martial soul was the most terrifying she had ever seen in her life. The power of bloodline is at least above the super god-level martial soul, which is a quality that even the strongest martial soul in the god realm, the dragon god martial soul, cannot reach. But Xianyu has a martial soul of this quality. Compared with Xianyu, the second generation of gods in the god realm are really just average. But Gu Yuna is also slowly getting used to it, because there are too many incredible things on Xianyu. At this time, a 1,000-foot sword intent appeared behind Xianyu, and a silver-white long sword gradually condensed behind him, and finally condensed into a handsome magic sword. Xianyu held the magic sword, his long hair turned silver-white, and his eyes turned into the innate holy power of the 9-killing sword super god-level martial soul, the silver-white 9-killing sword pupils. Xianyu was possessed by the 9-killing sword spirit, and a silver-white sword mark appeared between Xianyu's eyebrows. With a pair of silver-white 9-killing sword pupils and a head of silver-white hair, he was simply a sword immortal. Gu Yuna, who was watching, was fascinated. After all, there was no sword immortal as handsome as Xianyu in the god realm. But he was handsome for only 3 seconds, and Xianyu removed the 9-killing sword spirit. He returned to his usual somewhat mean look, because he still had to fuse the other 2 spirits. Gu Yuna hadn't admired him enough, and reluctantly said, "It would be great if Xianyu could always be this handsome, although he is usually quite handsome." Xianyu also admired his new martial soul, and thought to himself, "It has to be the sword. It is not only powerful, but also very handsome. It is much better than the hammer. The hammer is more powerful, but the sword is much worse in terms of appearance. This is also the reason why I don't play the hammer normally. After I merged with a 9-killing sword martial soul, I feel that my understanding of the sword has reached a new level." The 9-killing sword artistic conception, referred to as the 9-killing sword intention. Xianyu continued, "System, merge the Bone Dragon martial soul, super god evolution. Ling. Martial soul, Bone Dragon is in the process of super god evolution. Ling. Martial soul, Bone Dragon super god evolution completed. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the super god level martial soul, Chaos Immortal Bone Dragon Ding. Super god level martial soul, Chaos Immortal Bone Dragon is in the process of fusion." Boom. An extremely strong spatial force instantly surged up from Xianyu's body. The space around Xianyu instantly split into space cracks, revealing the chaotic space inside. Then, the spiritual world space centered on Xianyu was actually collapsing piece by piece. Gu Yuna, who was watching the show not far away, said, "What kind of terrifying martial soul has Xianyu awakened this time? Even the indestructible space in the spiritual world has been collapsed." When Xianyu was about to awaken his martial soul, most of the space in the spiritual world had been collapsed by the movement of Xianyu's awakening martial soul. Only the chaotic space left after the space collapsed could be seen. This kind of chaotic space would only be a life or death situation for even a titled Douluo if he fell into it. A blue light flashed, and Xianyu finally awakened his martial soul. After awakening the Chaos Immortal Bone Dragon martial soul, Xianyu had two things improved. One was Xianyu's defense, because the Bone Dragon was famous for its high defense. After fusing nearly 10 super god-level martial souls, Xianyu's physique and defense have reached a terrifying level. Even if Xianyu just stood there and let thousands of soul masters of the same level throw soul skills at him, Xianyu's blood would probably not recover as fast as it fell. Because Xianyu's defense could not be broken at all, how could they possibly hurt him? The other is the characteristic of the Bone Dragon, the power of space. The power of space is something that is powerful, but he is not very powerful. If you say it is not powerful, he is very awesome. The power of space can only be said to depend on who uses it. People like Ning Rongrong do not understand it deeply, and can only use it to shuttle through space, and cannot use it to attack opponents. However, this should be the reason for the martial soul, because the space power that comes with a martial soul bloodline is just that little. No matter how hard you try to cultivate the power of space, the highest level is that you can only use it to shuttle through space. But in Douluo Continent, being able to shuttle through space is already a very awesome and rare skill. Xianyu didn't have to worry about this problem at all, because after the Bone Dragon martial soul evolved into a super god, the special force in his blood had already evolved to an extremely terrifying level. Xianyu just gently opened one hand, and a blue energy shone in his hand. In an instant, the broken spaces in the spirit world were reorganized piece by piece. After a while, all the spaces that were broken by Xianyu were repaired by Xianyu. Xianyu's operation shocked Gu Yuna on the side again, because the special force can only be played after reaching the divine realm, and ordinary mortals don't even have to think about it. Unless it is a demigod level or a person whose martial soul has its own special force, it is almost impossible for mortals to break the space and reorganize the space. But Xianyu did it. Not only did Xianyu not reach the divine realm, but his soul power level was only level 40, but he did something that the 99th level ultimate Douluo could not do. Chapter 66, 12-Wind Ultimate Seraph. At this time, Xianyu was seen floating in the air, and behind him was a brand new handsome dragon. The dragon's body was made up of blue bones, and it looked like a huge dragon-shaped skeleton. But the blue bones were covered with sacred space patterns, and even the huge skeleton was covered with terrifying blue space flames. This blue flame came from the depths of chaos in the space cracks, and had extremely strong attack and destruction capabilities. This was also a new talent brought by the super god evolution of the Bone Dragon martial spirit, which made the Bone Dragon, which was originally just a tank, also have a good attack ability. Xianyu looked at Gu Yuna, who was looking at him below, smiled lightly, and a space force teleported in front of Gu Yuna. Gu Yuna was surprised and said, "Xianyu, have you awakened the power of space?" Xianyu pretended, "Well, it's very simple, just have hands." Gu Yuna really didn't know what to say. Xianyu continued, "And I have not just awakened the power of space." A blue ball of space power condensed in Xianyu's hand, and then Xianyu threw it out, and the blue ball of light flew directly to a giant mountain not far away. With a bang, the giant mountain and the space it was in were directly blown into a space crack, with only some of the mountain still floating in the space crack. Xianyu's attack was enough to kill the title Douluo in seconds. Looking at Xianyu using the power of space as a means of attack, Gu Yuna thought to herself, Xianyu must have understood the power of space to a certain level to be able to use it as a means of attack against the enemy. Xianyu, this stinky guy, has really awakened another terrifying martial soul. Anyway, there are very few people who can use the power of space like this, even in the god realm, and only some high-level gods can do it. Because they don't have any talent in this area, they can only rely on their strong soul power and long vitality to learn. Anyway, they can afford it. Xianyu only spent 5 minutes to awaken a martial soul, and was able to quickly obtain a strong special force. To be honest, Gu Yuna was a little envious of Xianyu's ability to awaken a powerful martial soul at will. Xianyu is only 13 years old now, but his true strength is estimated to be able to beat any soul master on the continent, and his current realm is only the soul sect. It is conceivable that when he reaches the god realm, Xianyu's strength will be terrifying. With so many powerful martial souls, It is basically no problem to beat those gods in the god realm at the same level. If she had such a strong talent at the beginning, the original dragon god would not be able to beat even a Shura god. The original dragon god was cut into two halves, and the other half, the golden dragon king, was sealed in the god realm, while she could only be seriously injured, and then ran to the Star-Dao forest to heal her wounds and embarrassment. If she hadn't met Xianyu later, she might still be healing alone under the fountain of life in the center of the Star-Dao forest. When she thought of this, Guiyuna felt a little sad. Then he said to Xianyu, who was still playing with the power of space heartlessly, "Xianyu, you will protect me in the future, right?" Xianyu stopped the power of space in his hand. Although he didn't know why Guiyuna said so suddenly. But he still replied seriously, "Of course, you protect me now, and when I grow up, it will be my turn to protect you. At that time, if anyone dares to bully you, I will kill him, even if he is a god king, god emperor, or god emperor, but as long as he dares to bully you, I will kill him without hesitation, and even the heavenly Dao can't stop him." Seeing Xianyu's domineering promise, Guiyuna felt warm in her heart, and she also believed that Xianyu could do it. When Xianyu grew up, what would a little god king be? Xianyu walked in front of Guiyuna, gently touched her silver hair and said, "Did you think about the god realm?" "Yes." Guiyuna nodded aggrievedly. "Is it that guy Shura god?" Xianyu asked again. Guiyuna nodded aggrievedly again. "Well, I understand." Xianyu thought in his heart, Yui's original body dragon god quality should be at least super god level quality, but she has never beaten the so-called Shura god king, so the Shura god king's martial soul quality should also be super god level martial soul, and it is the best martial soul among the super god level martial souls. Xianyu's eyes flashed with a cold light, and he thought, but since you bullied Yui, even if your martial soul is a powerful super god level martial soul, you will still have to pay the price, Shura god king, right? Then I will go to the god realm to play with you. At present, Xianyu still has to develop in the mainland for a while, at least before he becomes a god. He cannot go to the god realm, but he is not worried that Shura god will come down to cause trouble first. Because the secrets of his body have long been hidden by the system, even if the heavenly way of this world comes, it cannot calculate Xianyu's secrets. Even if the people from the god realm really came to the mainland, Xianyu was not panicked at all. After so many years of system rewards, Xianyu still had some things that could fight against a god king. Even if he was now against a god king, he could still fight. Forget it, don't think too much for now. It's important to awaken the martial soul first. If you want your beloved woman not to be bullied, you have to work hard to become stronger. Otherwise, you may be like Tang San's father, or like Master, because you are not strong enough to protect your beloved woman. After comforting Guiyuna, Xianyu went to awaken the martial soul again. After awakening this martial soul, Xianyu had 10 martial souls, the real 10 life martial souls. Compared with Xianyu, those so-called twin martial souls and triple martial souls are weak. If Xianyu showed all the martial souls in his body, it might not only shock the whole mainland, but also attract people from the god realm, so Xianyu planned to keep a low profile. Then Xianyu gave the system an order in his mind. System, awaken the six-winged angel martial soul, super god evolution, Ling. Martial soul, the six-winged angel is in the process of super god evolution. Ling. Martial soul, the six-winged angel has evolved. Ling. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the super god level martial soul, the 12-winged ultimate dark seraph. Ling. Super god level martial soul, the 12-winged ultimate dark seraph is awakening. Ah. Super god level martial soul? System, wait. Ling. The martial soul awakening has been interrupted. Xianyu hurriedly asked, System, will our six-winged angel martial soul be a super god level martial soul after awakening? Ling. Host, because the six-winged angel martial soul is originally a god level martial soul, it can be upgraded from god level to super god level after the system's super god level evolution. Well, I understand, continue to awaken. Ling. Super god level martial soul, the 12-winged ultimate dark seraph is awakening. Chapter 67 New Students. Boom. A sacred dark soul force instantly rushed up from Xianyu's body and broke through the clouds, covering the entire sky in the spirit world with a layer of blazing color. Guiyuna, who once again sensed that Xianyu had awakened the destruction dragon level martial spirit, also teleported away. Because the awakening movement when Xianyu awakened the super god level martial spirit was too loud, if he was not careful, he might destroy the space in the spirit world. Gu Yuna had to be ready to stabilize the space in the spirit world at any time. At this time, Xianyu was suspended in the air of the spirit world, and 12 blazing red angel wings were gradually condensing behind him. He also held the angel holy sword that came with the angel martial spirit in his hand. The ordinary angel holy sword was platinum, while Xianyu held a dark red angel holy sword in his hand. There were 12 dark red little angel wings on the hilt, and sandwiched between the 6 dark red angel wings on the left and right was a blazing red gem, referred to as the Seraph Gem, which contained endless power. The slender dark red angel holy sword was engraved with mysterious and sacred lines, and each line exuded terrifying power, as if it would break through the sword body and release at any time. The dark red sword body was also covered with the burning angel flames. The angel flames were the supreme existence in the flames, and their power was no less than the destructive energy of the destroying dragon. Xianyu's momentum began to gradually decrease, and gradually began to become peaceful. Xianyu's angel martial soul fusion was almost completed. The last dark red light rushed into the sky, and Xianyu finally completed the awakening of the angel martial soul. At this time, 12 sacred and inviolable seraph wings were hanging on Xianyu's back. Each seraph wing contained endless power, and Xianyu had 12 seraph wings. There are many kinds of angel martial souls in the world, but they all have one common feature, that is, angel wings. The more angel wings there are, the stronger the bloodline of this angel martial soul is. Xianyu's 12 angel wings can already represent that the 12-winged ultimate seraph martial spirit is the strongest angel martial spirit in the Douluo world. Xianyu estimated that there is no existence of a super god level martial spirit that can surpass it in the entire Douluo universe. Don't ask Xianyu why he is so confident, because this is what the system told him. Looking at the 12 angel wings behind Xianyu, Gu Yuna pondered, 6-winged angel? No, Xianyu's new martial spirit actually has 12 wings. It seems that Xianyu has awakened another powerful and mysterious martial spirit. Gu Yuna has also seen many angel martial spirits in the god realm, but the strongest angel martial spirit in the god realm only has 10 angel wings. You must know that the number of angel wings is difficult to increase later. 10 angel wings are already the bloodline limit of the angel martial spirits in the god realm, and Xianyu actually has 12. Xianyu landed in front of Gu Yuna and showed off his 12 angel wings like a child. Gu Yuna chuckled and said, "Who doesn't have wings yet?" Then 2 pairs of beautiful silver wings appeared behind Gu Yuna. You don't have as many wings as I do." Xianyu said. "What's the use of having more wings? Wait until you are stronger than me," Gu Yuna said. Xianyu thought to himself, that's right. If you don't grow up, no matter how many wings you have, it's useless. Then he lifted the spirit possession state. Xianyu said, "Let's go, Yuir, it's time for us to leave the spirit world." Xianyu looked at the spirit world that had been destroyed beyond recognition. "Yes," Gu Yuna nodded, and then Xianyu let her hand out of the spirit world. Since Xianyu entered the spirit world in the dormitory, he also came out of the dormitory. As soon as Xianyu and Gu Yuna left the spirit world, the door of the dormitory was pushed open, and Xiao Wu and Meng Yiren walked in. As soon as they entered the door, they saw Xianyu and Gu Yuna, who were alone in the same room. Meng Yiren said angrily, "Okay. Brother Xianyu, I was wondering why you didn't go to training. It turns out that you secretly brought other girls back to the dormitory to do bad things." "Humph. I've been training so hard with Sister Xiao. Sister Xiao, let's go. We can't forgive him so easily this time." After saying that, he was about to pull Xiao away. Xianyu was very upset. He used the power of space to teleport in front of them, pinched their ears and said, "Look carefully, it's Yuir." "Ah, Yuir." Then Meng Yiren and Xiao turned around and saw that it was Gu Yuna. It turned out to be Sister Yuir. Meng Yiren still remembered that when Xianyu rescued her in the Stardao Forest, Gu Yuna was also there, so she could be considered to have saved her life. Meng Yiren said, "Brother Xianyu, since it was Sister Yuir, then I forgive you." Xianyu rubbed his pretty face and said, "We didn't do anything. Yuir just came here and you and Xiao came back." Xiao looked at Gu Yuna sitting quietly on Xianyu's bed, because she felt a familiar breath again, and had a very kind feeling. "Brother Xianyu, Why did Sister Yuir come to our academy? Meng Yiren rubbed his red face that was pinched by Xianyu. Of course, she wants to join our Shrek Academy. Xianyu said. Brother Xianyu, we have 2 new students in Shrek Academy this morning. Together with Sister Yuir, we have 3 new members in Shrek today. New students? What are their names? Rub my face for me and I'll tell you. Brother Xianyu, you heard me just now. Xianyu could only helplessly hug Meng Yiren into his arms, rub her little face gently, and said, you can tell me now. Their names are Yilingling and Du Guyan. They seem to be the 2 beautiful female members of the team when you, Brother Xianyu, challenged the 7 Emperors fighting team last time. Oh, it must be you, Brother Xianyu, who tricked them here. Xianyu acted innocent and said, what do you mean I tricked them here? If you want to blame someone, you can only blame my charm. Alice, Brother Xianyu, you're a playboy. Only Sister Xiaoyu and I are considered and indulge your bad habit of being a playboy. If it were any other girl, I would have chopped you to death with an axe. Xianyu felt very wronged. He really didn't do anything. Chapter 68. The dormitory is big, but there is only 1 room. Xianyu stood up and said, Yuir, I'll take you to see the dean first. Yes. Guyuna nodded. Meng Yiren and Xiao followed. Shrek Academy, the principal's office. As soon as Xianyu and others opened the door, they saw the profiteer Flanders holding a few gold soul cards in his hand, smiling and explaining some things about the academy to the 2 beautiful girls sitting opposite him. As soon as Xianyu entered the door, one of the girls sitting on the sofa immediately shouted in surprise, Brother Xianyu. Xianyu also saw the girl and said, Lingling, I didn't expect you to really come. Well, Brother Xianyu, didn't you say that Shrek welcomes strong and beautiful girls at any time? So I dragged Yanai into Shrek to sign up. Xianyu also saw Du Guyan next to Yilingling. Xianyu didn't expect that she would come too. Du Guyan saw Xianyu looking at her, and she looked at Xianyu. However, Xianyu looked at her for a while, then moved his gaze from her face to her huge peaks, and then gradually moved his gaze to the bottom. Du Guyan showed displeasure, but seeing Xianyu's serious expression, it showed that Xianyu was not looking at her with ill intentions, because Xianyu's eyes were very clean, without anything else. Du Guyan thought to herself, did he see something? Indeed, Xianyu did see something. Unexpectedly, Du Guyan had the same toxin inherited from her family's martial spirit in her body as in the original book, and Xianyu saw it at a glance. But Xianyu looked away calmly and continued to talk to Yilingling. But he had already sent a message to Du Guyan in his heart, you are sick, are you interested in coming to see me? Du Guyan pondered and said, I didn't expect that he could see what was in my body at a glance. You know, before, her grandfather Dugubo had invited many famous healing spirit masters on the mainland to see the cause of her illness, but Xianyu saw it at a glance. If it was before, it wouldn't really matter whether Xianyu helped Du Guyan with her treatment or not, but now it couldn't be done. After all, she was about to join Shrek, so Xianyu had to help her with her treatment. Maybe it could even improve her favorability. Xianyu continued, Lingling, the 2 ace players of the Royal Dao team have changed jobs. Did the academy stop us? Of course they did. When Yanayan and I said we wanted to leave the academy sent people to stop us from leaving. But our family members took action, so the academy didn't dare to stop us and let us go. It's okay, Lingling, you and Yanayan will be members of our Shrek in the future. If the small Xiandao Royal Academy dares to cause trouble, I don't mind letting them close down in advance. Yilingling's eyes sparkled, and she thought to herself, little brother Xianyu is so domineering. The strongest academy of an empire is just a small one in the eyes of little brother Xianyu, and he can close it just by saying so. So domineering, love it. Seeing Xianyu coming in, Flanders also stopped. For him, compared to making money, it is more important to entertain Xianyu first. Xianyu, what's the matter with you? Flanders said. Dean, I brought a new student. Please arrange a dormitory for her. Huh? Another new student? Flanders said while looking at Guyuna beside Xianyu. Flanders thought to himself, another beautiful girl. I wonder where this boy Xianyu kidnapped her from. The 3 new students who came today are all beautiful girls, and they all came because of Xianyu. Where does this boy get such great charm? Flanders pushed his glasses and said, release your martial spirit and soul power level. Guyuna nodded, and then a silver dragon martial spirit appeared on Guyuna's body, And the 50th level Soul King's strength on her body was also revealed. Of course, this was not Gu Yuna's true self, but the soul power level after Gu Yuna suppressed it. Flanders nodded and said, "Okay, you're accepted. From now on, all three of you will be members of Shrek." Flanders definitely didn't do that because Tianyu sent him a message, "Dean, hurry up. I'll sponsor 1 billion gold soul coins to the academy after the end." Well, definitely not. Even if Tianyu didn't give the sponsorship fee, Flanders would still accept Gu Yuna and others. After all, if such a talented student is not accepted, then it would be really stupid. After all, Gu Yuna's appearance after transformation looks only a little older than Tianyu and others, and she is also a super young Soul King. If she were released to other academies, she would probably be snatched away. Flanders looked a little embarrassed and said, about the dormitory issue. Since the newly built student dormitory of the college has not been completed yet, there is only one dormitory left, so you girls may have to squeeze in." Tianyu said, "Dean, don't worry about this. My dormitory is the largest in the college. It is no problem to have more people living in it. Before the new dormitory is built, you can live in my dormitory." When Tianyu said this, he completely ignored the murderous eyes of Xiao Wu and Meng Yiren. Since Gu Yuna also saved Meng Yiren's life, Meng Yiren had no objection to Gu Yuna living with him. Xiao Wu had no objection to Gu Yuna either. Among the girls, Xiao Wu loved Tianyu the most. Even if Tianyu was having an affair again, she could only accept it. She couldn't leave Tianyu just because there were two more women around him. Anyway, there was Meng Yiren, so there was no need to worry about Gu Yuna. Since Gu Yuna had an inexplicable sense of intimacy for Xiao Wu, it was easier for Xiao Wu to accept Gu Yuna. "Okay, you will live in my dormitory from now on." Gu Yuna was a little confused. She thought to herself, "You didn't even ask me if I agreed. Forget it, Tianyu should have a lot of rooms in his dormitory." Gu Yuna thought so. Tianyu would never tell Gu Yuna that his dormitory only had one room, but the bed was bigger, so it would be no problem for 10 girls like Gu Yuna to sleep in it. Yi Lingling on the side tugged at Tianyu's clothes and said, Tianyu, can I live in the same dormitory with you guys?" Tianyu was so happy to see another naive girl, but he still said seriously, "Lingling, of course you can." Seeing Tianyu agreed, Yi Lingling was very happy and thought to herself, "That's great, I can live in the same dormitory with my most admired Tianyu." Naive Yi Lingling was just like Gu Yuna. When she heard Tianyu say that his dormitory was big, she mistakenly thought that there were many rooms in the dormitory, but she didn't know that Tianyu's dormitory only had one room and a big bed. "Yanayan, do you want to come and live here too?" Yi Lingling also invited Du Guan on the side. Du Guan felt that things were not that simple, so she shook her head and refused, and she escaped a disaster. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69 Dinner. Afterwards, Tianyu and others quickly left Flanders' office. Tianyu took Yi Lingling and Du Guan to visit every corner of Shrek Academy. After all, they would study here in the future. Although Tianyu sponsored a lot of gold soul coins to the academy, and Flanders also renovated the dilapidated academy a lot, after all, because it was in the countryside, Shrek still could not be as luxurious and beautiful as aristocratic school, but it also had a unique flavor. After all, there were so many beautiful girls in the academy, and Tianyu, an LSP, was willing to stay even if the environment was bad. Tianyu said, "Lingling, Yanayan, the environment of the academy is a bit bad, please don't dislike it." Yi Lingling shook her head and said, "No, Tianyu, I feel it's pretty good here, it has a unique flavor, Yanayan, don't you think so?" Du Guan also nodded. She never had too many requirements for the training environment, as long as it could make her stronger. Although they were all daughters of wealthy families, they did not have the bad habits of those young ladies and young masters. Tianyu had a good impression of such girls. Tianyu said, "It's getting late, I'll take you two to the cafeteria for dinner and get to know other members of Shrek Academy." After a while, the three of them arrived at the cafeteria of Shrek Academy. The cafeteria was still the same as when Tianyu first came to Shrek. It was probably because Flanders had not started to decorate the cafeteria yet. Other people from Shrek had already arrived in the cafeteria to eat. As soon as Tianyu and the two girls entered the door, the eyes of the three LSPs, Tianyu, Fatty Bai, and Oscar, lit up instantly, because they all saw the two girls next to Tianyu. As soon as Tianyu sat down, the fat man immediately came over and said, "Tianyu, you are so awesome, where did you kidnap this girl from?" Tianyu punched the fat man directly and said, "What do you mean by kidnapped? Am I that kind of person? Lingling and Yanyan are new team members. We have met each other in the soul fighting arena before. Aren't these the control and support of the royal fighting team? Tianyu, you kidnapped the two most important players of the team. The people of the royal fighting team probably hate you to death." Daimube also remembered it at this time. Tianyu leaned back, put the chair against the wall, crossed his legs and said, "So what, do the people from the royal fighting team dare to come to me for trouble? My hands are a little itchy recently." Daimube said, "Tianyu, you are too arrogant." Oslo approached Tianyu and said, "Tianyu, that auxiliary girl named Lingling is so beautiful, can I?" Tianyu just said the word "get out" and drove Oscar away. Tianyu cursed, "Smelly boy, you are so bold, you actually want to hit on my little fangirl." Oscar cried and said, "Tianyu, you are so disloyal, there are 4 girls in the academy, you take 4 by yourself, can you bear it? Now you are reluctant to leave the 2 new girls to the brothers. You know, in the academy, we brothers are still single dogs." Tianyu came up to Oscar, put his hand on Oscar's shoulder, and said earnestly, "Xiao, it's not that I don't want to give the beautiful girls to you brothers, but they don't like you at all." Then Tianyu pointed a finger at himself and said, "The girl likes me, I can't let her down and choose to ignore her." After Tianyu said this, Oscar was speechless. Oscar thought to himself, "That's right, the girls like Tianyu. Even if Tianyu doesn't pick up those girls, they won't like me. After all, there is a genius like Tianyu in the academy. Which girl will choose an ordinary me?" Thinking of this, Oscar felt inferior again. Tianyu didn't go to comfort Oscar. This guy obviously has a handsome face. He can find any girl outside the academy. Why does he have to fall in love with girls in the academy? Tianyu disagrees, not even if they are brothers. Soon, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and other girls also came to the cafeteria. After everyone arrived, the students of Shrek all sat at a rectangular table. Yilingling, the little girl, took the lead in introducing herself. "Hello everyone, my name is Yilingling, my martial soul is 9-hearted begonia, I am 18 years old, and my soul power level is 51. My favorite boy is brother Tianyu." The other people in Shrek looked at Yilingling who sat down, and thought to themselves, "Isn't this another Meng Yiren?" Duguyan said, "My name is Duguyan, my martial soul is green phosphorus snake king, I am 19 years old, and my soul power level is 53. Finally, it was Guyuna who introduced herself. Guyuna said, "My name is Guyuna, my martial soul is the silver dragon, I am 16 years old, and my soul power level is 50. Since everyone had spent some time together during the Stardown Forest trip some time ago, they were all shocked when they heard Guyuna say her age and soul power. A 16-year-old soul king, isn't this a monster on the same level as Tianyu? But everyone present was not too surprised, because they had all seen monsters like Tianyu, and a 16-year-old soul king like Guyuna was not surprising, because those who could sit here were basically monster-level geniuses. Afterwards, the other people in Shrek also began to introduce themselves to Yilingling and several new students. "Hello Lingling, my name is Ning Rongrong, you can just call me Rongrong. I'm very happy that you can become our new Shrek team member. Now we Shrek have 2 auxiliary soul masters, because I am also an auxiliary soul master." Ning Rongrong and Yilingling, both auxiliary spirit masters, quickly became familiar with each other. As Guyuna and Tianyu had always been acting quite intimate, Daimube and the others were very sensible and did not approach Guyuna to chat up with her. Instead, they went to Duguyan. Daimube came to Duguyan, put on a handsome smile and said, "Hello, Yanayan team member, I am Daimube, the captain of the Shrek team, you can just call me Mube, I'm glad you joined." After that, he stretched out a hand. Duguyan just looked up at Daimube and just hummed indifferently. Daimube awkwardly withdrew his hand. The fat man and Oscar in the distance were almost laughing like crazy. Oscar covered his stomach and laughed. Haha. The last time I saw Boss Dai being humiliated was when Zhu Zhuqing had just arrived. At that time, Boss Dai also approached like this, and was rejected like this. Haha. The fat man also said, doesn't this guy, Lao Dai, call himself a beauty killer? Why is he humiliated again? Haha. After dinner, the other members of Shrek also had a general understanding of the personalities of Yi Lingling and Du Guyan. After dinner, everyone in Shrek began to return to their respective dormitories to rest. They saw Yi Lingling and Gu Yuna walking in the same direction as Tianyu and others. Daimyo Bei and others couldn't help but ask, Lingling, where's your dormitory? Although she didn't know why Daimyo Bei and others asked this, she still said honestly, of course I live in the same dormitory with brother Tianyu. Tianyu said his dormitory is very big. Then, what about you or two? Asked the fat man. Yes, what's the problem? No problem. Daimyo Bei said. It's really strange? After saying that, Yi Lingling continued to follow Tianyu towards the dormitory. Yi Lingling didn't know the situation of Tianyu's dormitory, but Fatty Daimyo Bei and others knew very well that Tianyu's dormitory had long been changed by this hateful guy into only one room, with a big bed in the middle of the room. Fatty cried and said, Boss Dai, I envy Tianyu so much. This guy can fall asleep with 4 stunning beauties in his arms tonight. Wipe your tears, I'm envious too. Daimyo Bei said. Chapter 70, Remarks on the Release. On the last day of this month, I received a notice from the editor that the book will be put on the shelves on December 1st, which means it will be put on the shelves at 12 noon tomorrow. To be honest, I was a little confused at the time, because the number of words was less than 150,000. I didn't expect it to be put on the shelves so early. My plan was to write 200,000 words before putting it on the shelves, but time didn't wait for me. There was no way. The notice came, and I had to bite the bullet and rush forward. Thank you to all the book friends who have been reading this book. Thank you for your love and support. This book is my first book. I have grown from a newbie who can't even type a word to an author. This journey is all because of your encouragement and support. Really, without you, I really can't even write this book. For a while, I was really irritable and didn't feel like writing this book at all, because many readers scolded me under the book reviews. I don't know why I was scolded. Is it because my book is not well written? Or did I not write this book seriously? None of them. I took this book very seriously. For this book, I quit my favorite game and just lay in bed with my computer typing every day. I was really tired during that time. I don't know why I worked so hard to write. In return, I always got readers' misunderstanding. They always thought that it was natural for me to write books for them, and I owed them. If I wrote badly, I was deliberately disgusting them. But I never took any benefit from them. I also wanted to write the best content for readers, and I also wanted to write 100,000 words a day for book friends to enjoy, but I didn't have this ability. I had tried my best to write. But later I got encouragement from book friends who liked this book. I was really very moved by the words of encouragement and 5-star reviews. In the end, I still walked out of the depression of that period with difficulty and successfully found the state of writing. I deleted all the book reviews that scolded me, and I didn't feel annoyed. I only kept those book reviews that encouraged me. Whenever I was about to give up, I would look through those book reviews that encouraged me, and I would cheer up again in an instant. In a word, thank you for your company and encouragement along the way. In the days to come, I will continue to work hard to update and make the story of this book more and more exciting. Now that the book is on the shelves, I still have to talk about the old things, that is, subscriptions and first orders. First orders are very important to the author, really very important. The quality of the first order is related to the subsequent recommendation of the book and the performance of the book. Whether it can be recommended depends on all the book friends, and how far this book can go also depends on all the book friends. I hope all the book friends can move their fingers and subscribe at noon tomorrow. And for the book friends on other platforms, I hope they can move to QQ Reading and give a first order. Thank you very much. Chapter 71, Drained. In the early morning, the sun shines through the window of Tianyu's dormitory onto Tianyu's big bed. 4 stunning beauties are lying on the big bed, all wearing light pajamas. After a night of wind and rain, the spring light on the bodies of several stunning beauties is exposed, and their shoulders are exposed. The culprit, Dongfang Tianyu, is now lying comfortably in the gentle land of several women. Ahem, don't think wrongly, Tianyu didn't do anything last night. Last night, Yi Lingling and Gu Yuna came to Tianyu's dormitory and planned to leave when they found that Tianyu's dormitory had only one room. But since they were here, how could Tianyu let them leave so easily? Tianyu got up refreshed, stretched his body, and looked at the women who were still sleeping. Tianyu quietly got up and washed without disturbing them. Tianyu opened the door of the dormitory and planned to go out alone to bask in the sun. But as soon as Tianyu opened the door, he saw Du Yuan walking towards him not far away. Tianyu slowly closed the door and walked towards Du Yuan. Tianyu came to Du Yuan and said, "What's the matter, Yan?" Du Yuan said calmly, "Didn't you say you could see the disease in my body? I want to take a look at it for you." "Well, no problem, let's go to your dormitory. Lingling and the others are still sleeping in my dormitory, so I won't disturb them." Du Yuan thought for a while and nodded. Then she led Tianyu to her dormitory. In Du Yuan's dormitory, on a table, Tianyu said, "Stretch out your hand." Du Yuan also stretched out her hand obediently. And Tianyu also pretended to put his hand on Du Yuan's white and smooth little hand. While Tianyu felt the smoothness in his hand, he gave the system an order in his mind. "System, check the cause of the disease." Ling. Checking the cause of the disease. Tianyu kept touching Du Yuan's hand, and just when Du Yuan was about to get impatient, Tianyu finally spoke. Tianyu said, "Yan, every time it is cloudy and rainy, you will feel numbness and itching in your chest, and it will gradually intensify and last for more than an hour. In severe cases, you will feel tingling pains like needles on the top of your head and the soles of your feet, and your whole body will cramp for at least half an hour. Circulating soul power during battle will also cause needle-like pains in your heart." After learning about the cause of Du Yuan's illness, Tianyu was also quite shocked, because he didn't expect that the disease would be so serious, much more serious than in the original book. It was hard for Tianyu to imagine that Du Yuan could break through the Soul King realm before the age of 18 under such a cause of illness. You can imagine how strong this girl is. After listening to Tianyu's cause of illness, Du Yuan covered her mouth in surprise. Because the cause of illness Tianyu said was exactly the same as when his symptoms occurred. This was the cause of illness that his grandfather had invited many famous doctors on the mainland to see, but Tianyu knew the cause of the illness clearly just by touching it casually. This was really incredible. Du Yuan said excitedly, "Tianyu, can you cure it? This disease has been bothering her for many years, and the disease has become more and more serious in recent years. Every time the disease attacks, she would rather die than live. If Tianyu can really help her cure it, she is willing to marry him." Tianyu smiled and said, "Of course it can be cured, but..." Du Yuan said anxiously, "But what?" Tianyu said seriously, "But you need to be naked when you treat it." Tianyu really didn't take advantage of someone's misfortune. This is what the system said, because Tianyu didn't have the card that he used to treat Gu Yuna last time. If you want to treat Du Yuan, you can only use the system's built-in treatment function. However, if you use this function, you need to treat the person without clothes, which makes Tianyu, who is so thick-skinned, very embarrassed. Du Yuan bit her red lips and whispered, "It's okay for me." After that, she was about to take off her clothes. Tianyu quickly reached out to stop her. Du Yuan looked at Tianyu with a look that didn't quite understand. Tianyu didn't say anything, but took out a black tape from somewhere and covered his eyes. Then he said, "Take it off." Tianyu's action instantly made Du Yuan like Tianyu more. Then Du Yuan took off her clothes one by one, revealing a large area of spring light, but Tianyu couldn't see it at this time. On Du Yuan's bed, Tianyu and Du Yuan sat cross-legged. Tianyu put his hand on Du Yuan's smooth and white back, and then Tianyu gave the system an order in his mind. Du Yuan only felt a warm current flowing from Tianyu's palm to her body. And Tianyu suddenly felt that his soul power was draining away, and Tianyu was stunned in an instant. He asked the system in his mind, "System, what's going on? Why is my soul power draining away?" Ling. Host, the system's healing function requires the host's soul power to be consumed. How much? Ling. Not sure, it depends on how serious the cause of the treatment target is. Forget it. Anyway, my soul power is quite strong. I don't believe that this system can drain me dry. I saw that a large amount of soul power in Tianyu's body was transformed into healing power by the system, and entered Du Guyan's body to start healing her illness. Du Guyan only felt very comfortable in her body. This feeling was the first time she had experienced it since she grew up, and it was even more comfortable than breaking through the realm. She was comfortable, but Tianyu was uncomfortable. Because Tianyu found that this system was simply a bottomless pit, madly extracting his soul power and transforming it into healing power. Tianyu now only wanted the system to quickly cure the illness in Du Guyan's body before his soul power was exhausted. Finally, after the treatment lasted for half an hour, the system stopped extracting Tianyu's soul power. After the treatment, Du Guyan also felt refreshed. Then he began to circulate the soul power in his body, and the pain that would occur when the soul power was circulated disappeared. Du Guyan was sure that her illness was finally cured, and she was so happy that she was about to cry. Du Guyan turned around to thank Tianyu, but as soon as he turned around, he found that Tianyu had exhausted her soul power and fainted on her bed. Du Guyan didn't care that she had no clothes on, and quickly helped Tianyu up and laid in her arms. Du Guyan said anxiously, Tianyu, I haven't thanked you properly yet, you can't just die like this. Tianyu, who was lying in Du Guyan's arms, suddenly moved his lips, and said weakly and slowly, Yaner, I need your kiss. Du Guyan's face was ruddy. Although she was very shy, for Tianyu, she kissed Tianyu's lips directly. Because this was her first kiss, she was not very skilled, but she gave Tianyu a full 30 seconds of sweet kiss. Chapter 72 Secret Realm. After tasting the sweet kiss, Tianyu came back to life in an instant. He took out a pill from the spirit ring and swallowed it directly. Tianyu felt that his soul power in his body was instantly restored to 1/10. After taking the pill, Tianyu finally regained a trace of blood color. Over the years, he still saved a lot of pills. This system is really a pitfall. It actually sucked away his strong soul power. But it also indirectly shows how serious the illness in Du Guyan's body is. Seeing that Tianyu finally regained a trace of blood color, Du Guyan was also surprised and said, Tianyu, you are okay, it's really great, I was really scared just now. Du Guyan thought that Tianyu lost his life to help her with treatment. At that time, she really didn't know how to explain to Tianyu's two girlfriends. Fortunately, Tianyu was fine. It's okay, Yaner, it's just that my cultivation has regressed a little. For you, it's all worth it. After hearing Tianyu's love words, Du Guyan was very moved. Just when she was about to give Tianyu a little reward, she found that Tianyu was staring at her body. At this moment, she remembered that she hadn't put on her clothes yet. She also hurriedly pulled the quilt to cover her body. Tianyu also hurriedly looked away and wiped his nosebleed that was flowing out because of his disappointment. Seeing Tianyu's embarrassment at this time, Du Guyan couldn't help but cover her mouth and chuckled, thinking, rewards should still be given. She moved her body closer to Tianyu and kissed Tianyu on the face. Tianyu shouted in his heart, it's not a loss this time. Tianyu walked alone on the country road of Shrek Academy. Because Du Guyan's disease was cured, she wanted to go back and tell her family. There are many people in her family who have been tortured by this genetic disease, such as one of her sisters. Du Guyan in this world has a sister, and Du Guyan said that she would go back and bring her sister to cure the disease. Tianyu was so happy. But as he was walking, Tianyu thought of something bad. I remember that old man Du Gubo also has this disease. If I soak Du Guyan, he will be my father-in-law. Then I will have to treat him. The normal treatment of the system requires taking off clothes. When Tianyu thought of that scene, goosebumps all over his body appeared. He thought to himself, no, I have to do some system tasks and get some healing props. He didn't want the old man Du Gubo to take off his clothes to treat him. Ling. System task has been released. I was just looking for a task to do. System, you really gave me a pillow when I was sleepy. System, tell me about the task. Task, Qinghai Secret Realm, in the northwest of Zhuanghe Empire, Qinghai City, a high-level secret realm will be opened at noon tomorrow. At that time, all the major forces on the continent will send disciples to practice. What the host needs to do is to enter it. Ah, that's so troublesome. We have to go to Zhuanghe Empire. Tianyu certainly knew Zhuanghe Empire, a small coastal empire located in the west of the continent, which was not ranked among the many empires. This empire did not exist in the original book, Because the continent where Tianyu is now was much larger than the one in the original book, so there would be more forces. Tianyu thought about it and thought that there was nothing to do anyway, and Xiao Wu and the others did not need his protection. Among his women, except Gu Yuna, the other women were protected by at least hundreds of demon generals. Moreover, Shrek Academy was protected by the super formation he obtained from the system, and was not afraid of revenge from the team that their Shrek team had defeated, especially the Blood Clan behind the Fierce God team. So Tianyu decided to take this system task. Then Tianyu directly used the space power of the Bone Dragon and teleported in the direction of Zhuanghe Empire. After a period of space teleportation, Tianyu soon arrived at the location of Zhuanghe Empire mentioned by the system. Zhuanghe Empire, Qinghai City. In an inn in Qinghai City, Tianyu was wearing a black robe, leisurely drinking tea in the inn. Anyway, the secret realm had not yet opened, so he might as well come to the inn to drink tea and get some information. The reason why Tianyu was wearing a black robe and covering his face was mainly because his handsome face was too eye-catching, and he had to cover it up at a table not far from Tianyu. There were 5 young people wearing sect costumes, 3 men and 2 women. A young man said, "Brother, have you heard that many big forces came to the Qinghai secret realm this time?" The young man called brother replied, "Oh? Which ones?" The young man at the beginning thought for a while and said, "It seems that the Spirit Hall, the 3 holy places, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus sect, the 7 treasures glazed sect, several lower sects, various imperial forces, and hidden families have all sent people." The young man called brother was also shocked and said, "It seems that the Qinghai secret realm this time is not simple. There are so many forces coming." Another young man said, "With so many big sects coming to grab resources, we, a small sect, can't even get a sip of soup." The 2 young men didn't say anything, obviously tacitly agreeing with this statement. There is no way. This is a world where the strong prey on the weak, and the weak sects can't compete with the strong sects for supplies. It's not that they dare not rob, but mainly because they can't beat the big sects. They can only follow behind them and pick up some inferior products. A female disciple at the table said to another female disciple, "Junior sister, which male genius do you think will come from the big sects that will come to the secret realm this time?" Another female disciple said infatuatedly, "I feel it will be Mr. Yan from Yan'an Holy Land." Another female disciple said, "I feel it will be Mr. Jian from Sword God Holy Land." When it comes to the word prodigy, the senior brother said, "Junior brother, which of the female geniuses do you think will come this time?" The junior brother thought for a while and said, "I feel it will be my goddess Jinringsu." The senior brother also said, "My goddess Murin will definitely come." Tianyu didn't continue to listen. The soul power levels of several of them were not very high. Their status in the sect should not be too high, and they should not know much. Instead of continuing to listen, it would be better to go out for a walk. Then Tianyu got up and prepared to leave the inn. Because Tianyu was thinking about where to go, he didn't see the road clearly and bumped into a light figure in the group. Tianyu was about to say sorry when he saw a handful of soul power pushing towards him quickly. Author's words, damn, I'm pretty good at naming martial spirits, but I'm totally useless at naming people. My brain is about to explode. Chapter 73, The Leader of Qinghai Bay. Tianyu grabbed the wrist of that hand. Even though the soul power of the owner of the wrist was at least that of the famous soul master, Tianyu still held his hand like a chicken. The man who made the move screamed in pain, and just when the atmosphere became tense, a pleasant female voice sounded, "Sir, my junior brother was reckless just now. Please let him go." Tianyu looked forward. The other party was a group of people wearing long robes, and they obviously didn't want others to know their identities. The voice came from the slender figure in the middle. It should be her that Tianyu bumped into just now. There were 2 people with strong soul power behind her, at least 2 titled Douluo level, and they should be bodyguards. Tianyu was too lazy to cause trouble for the time being, so he smiled and said, "Of course." Then Tianyu let go of the hand of the guy who pushed him when he disagreed. The man was a young man, and he was obviously not convinced. He said, "You just bumped into my senior sister." Under the cloak covering Tianyu's face, Tianyu looked at the young man with cold eyes and said, "Is this the reason why you attacked me when you disagreed with me?" The young man wanted to continue to argue with Tianyu, but was frightened by Tianyu's eyes and dared not talk anymore, because he felt a moment of death in Tianyu's cold eyes. He dared to guarantee that if he dared to talk again, he might die. The female voice continued, "It was my junior brother who was reckless, young master, I apologize to you." Xianyu waved his hand and said, "It's okay, young lady, I don't care about the villain's mistakes, let it go this time, next time if it happens, kid, be careful I'll beat you up." Xianyu's last two words were said to the young man. Then Yan walked out of the inn slowly. After Xianyu left, the young man felt that he was able to recover and said, "Senior sister, why did you let him go? This guy is too arrogant. He doesn't take us seriously at all." The woman called senior sister ignored him and said lightly, "He is very strong." "Very strong? Can't even you, senior sister, beat him?" The woman said lightly, "Ask your senior brother." She didn't want to waste time talking to this brainless junior brother. If it weren't for the master's order, she wouldn't want to bring such a junior brother with her. The young man turned to the young man beside him and said, "Brother, is that man really powerful?" The young man called brother said, "I don't know whether he is powerful or not, but anyone who is not a fool should have sensed the spirit power released by the two elders just now, and he still looks fearless. Ordinary people would be scared to death if they sensed the two-titled Douluo. Do you think he is scared at all? He even treats our two elders as if they don't exist. This kind of strength and mentality means that he must be someone from a big power. Master said that when I first came here, I didn't cause trouble if I could. Because when the two-titled Douluo released their spirit power just now, almost everyone in the inn sensed it. Everyone in the inn thought something big was going to happen, and everyone was ready to jump and run. After all, a battle at the titled Douluo level might accidentally affect those of low level. And they all thought in their hearts that the young man Xianyu was going to be finished. He actually provoked someone from a big power. Who knew that Xianyu was not panicked at all, and walked out of the inn safely and swaggeringly. This kind of person is either a fool or a ruthless person. The senior sister and senior brother of this idiot junior brother have already made it very clear that this person is not simple. But this idiot junior brother was still very dissatisfied in his heart, thinking, "Damn it, senior sister and senior brother are really afraid of things. I will settle accounts with you when I enter the secret realm." As Xianyu said, the most lacking thing in this world is ignorant idiots. Xianyu, who walked out of the inn, began to wander around again. Xianyu walked on the streets of Qinghai City. It must be said that Qinghai City is quite large and lively. Although there is nothing fun, it is also good to see the scenery along the coast. But just when Xianyu had seen enough of the scenery and was about to find a guest room to rest, suddenly, there was a sound of fighting in front of Xianyu. There is a good show to watch, how can Xianyu be missing? Xianyu used the power of space and teleported directly to the front. After Xianyu saw clearly, he found that the two parties were fighting. Although there were many people on both sides, most of them were low-level guys. Although there were hundreds of people on a large scale, the average soul power was about level 10. In the melee of hundreds of people, only a few yellow 100-year soul rings could be seen shining, and most of them were 10-year white soul rings. Xianyu used the power of space to directly grab a small minion. When the minion was suddenly grabbed by Xianyu, he was a little confused. After waking up, he wanted to resist, but when he saw Xianyu flying in the sky, he instantly became honest. Because only those who have reached the Soul Emperor realm can fly in the air, so in his subconscious, how could he, a person with only level 11 soul power, beat the Soul Emperor, so he could only give up the resistance. Added new setting, in this world, the Soul Emperor realm can fly. This is a fanfiction, so book fans of the original novel should stop criticizing. The combat power in this book is much stronger than that in the original novel, and it is quite normal for the Soul Emperor to be able to fly. Xianyu grabbed the young man and asked, "What are you doing?" The young man answered honestly, "There is a fight between our Red Sea Star sect and the Black Sea Star sect." Xianyu said, "Why are we fighting?" "For territory." Xianyu thought to himself, so it turns out that it is a fight between small gangs for territory. I don't understand what I am joining in the fun. Boring. Before leaving, Xianyu asked the young man, "What is your name? What is your martial soul?" The young man answered honestly, "My name is Kuhuoze, and my martial soul is a machete." Xianyu was shocked and thought to himself, "It has the flavor of a gangster movie in my previous life." Xianyu patted the young man on the shoulder and said, "Young man, you have a future. I am optimistic about you." You will definitely make a name for yourself in this area in the future. After Tianyu finished speaking, he used the power of space and left in a flash. Only the young man holding the machete was left there, thinking about life. Tianyu didn't know that many years later, because of his words, Qinghai City would have a legend. Many years later, Qinghai City had a big man holding a machete, who chopped all over Qinghai City, and was called Qinghai Bei, the boss. Chapter 74 Tianyu's show-off scene. In the Qinghai Hotel, the largest hotel in Qinghai City, Tianyu was lying on the bed in a room. When the sun shone through the window and hid his handsome face, he slowly got up. Tianyu stretched and yawned. The two girls were really drunk last night, so I slept so late. Tianyu slowly began to wash up, and then looked at the time, 12:59. After seeing the time, the toothbrush in Tianyu's mouth fell directly into the wash basin. The secret realm opened at 12 noon and closed at 1 o'clock, and now there is still 1 minute before the secret realm closes. Tianyu still picked up the toothbrush calmly, continued to brush his teeth and wash his face. 5 minutes later, Tianyu finally finished washing up, but the space door of the secret realm had also been closed. Is Tianyu going to be unable to complete this task? Of course not. Tianyu used the power of space and came directly to the entrance of the secret realm. At this time, many sects of all sizes gathered at the entrance of the secret realm. Tianyu's sudden arrival also attracted a lot of attention. There were many female disciples of the sect who had not entered the secret realm at the entrance of the secret realm. When they saw Tianyu's handsome face, they all screamed. A female disciple of the sect said, "What a handsome young man! Which holy land is this son of? Why is he so handsome? I haven't seen him before, but he is really handsome. Even more handsome than the sons of the Holy Land. That melancholy look, I really love it." Tianyu walked slowly towards the closed secret realm gate. He didn't have any melancholy eyes, but he had dark circles under his eyes because he didn't sleep well last night after partying too late with two girls. The secret realm gate was closed, but Tianyu continued to walk towards the secret realm gate. Instantly, a male disciple who was jealous of Tianyu's appearance said, "What is this cunning guy doing? The secret realm gate is already closed. Does he still want to go in?" That's right, he didn't sleep well." Other male disciples also mocked. The elders of other sects looked at Tianyu's confusing behavior and said, "This should be the disciple of a sect. He must have overslept." Unfortunately, the door to the secret realm has been closed. It seems that this boy will miss this secret realm. Another elder said, "This boy's strength should be very good, because I can't see the boy's cultivation level at the level of title Douluo. This boy's body is like being shrouded in a layer of fog." As soon as the elder said this, the elders of other sects also began to use soul power to detect Tianyu's strength, but they were all covered by a layer of fog and couldn't see anything at all, as if he didn't belong to this world. While talking, Tianyu had already walked to the gate of the secret realm, but at this time, the space gate that should have appeared in the middle of the stone gate had been closed. But this didn't bother Tianyu at all. Tianyu just slowly stretched out a hand, and a blue space force was running in his palm. Some of the Super Douluo level present felt what Tianyu was going to do, but some ignorant male disciples with acid bursting didn't know. Start taunting directly. Ha ha ha. This idiot is not trying to reopen the closed secret realm, is he? Ha ha ha. I am dying of laughter. Anyone with a brain knows that once the secret realm gate is closed, it will not be opened unless it is half a month later. Otherwise, even the ultimate Douluo cannot open it. Those female disciples also sighed and said, "What a handsome young man, but it's a pity that his brain is not very smart." Facing the ridicule of those people, Tianyu did not blame them, because ignorance was not their fault, because normal people would think that Tianyu could not open the closed secret realm gate. Tianyu raised the corners of his mouth and showed a contemptuous smile. Then a blue light instantly gathered in the palm of his hand, the blue space force began to shine, and a huge space gate slowly appeared in front of Tianyu. This scene not only made those sect disciples dumbfounded, but even those old monsters who had lived for hundreds of years were refreshed when they saw this scene. It's the power of space," a master of a large sect said. He was a level 97 Super Douluo, one of the strongest people who came to the secret realm this time. He had lived for many years, so he could naturally see the power of space used by Tianyu. "Old Mew, the power of space can't do this," Right. Said an ordinary title Douluo. The unnamed old Mu continued, so this boy is so powerful. He may have reached a very terrifying level of understanding of the power of space, and he has a super talent for the power of space. He is so talented. I don't know which Holy Land disciple ran out. As far as I know, among the title Douluos who use the power of space, Gurong of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect is the strongest one. Even if he comes, he can't open the closed secret realm door, right? Said an ordinary title Douluo. Yes. The unnamed old Mu nodded. There are not many people who can use the power of space on the mainland, and the power of space is one of the most difficult laws to comprehend. Therefore, even if there are people who can use the power of space, they cannot use it because their realm has not reached a high level. In one direction of the entrance to the secret realm, there is an open space. This is an open space divided by a large sect. On the open space, there is a tea table, and around the tea table sit several middle-aged people with extraordinary temperament. An elegant middle-aged man said, I didn't expect that Tianyu has grown so much after just a short time. The middle-aged man who was drinking tea with the elegant middle-aged man said, Brother Fengzi, do you know that boy? Of course I know him. This boy is my future son-in-law. I just don't know how Rongrong is doing now. The person who spoke was Ning Fengzi, who had not appeared in dozens of chapters. Haha. Brother Fengzi is so lucky to have found such a talented son-in-law. Ning Fengzi smiled lightly and thought to himself, Tianyu is a genius, but he has such a dishonest handsome face. I'm afraid he will find a bunch of sisters for my Rongrong. Alice Gurong behind Ning Fengzi said, Tianyu actually has such a strong spatial force? If I knew when I first met him, I would definitely accept him as my apprentice. Jian Douluo on the side, Chen Zin said, Come on, Xiao Gutao, maybe he doesn't think highly of you. Xiao Jianjian, do you look down on me? After all, we are also famous super Douluos on the continent. Xiao Gutao, are you as famous as me? And can you beat me? Xiao Jianjian, do you really have to fight with me? Okay, let's find a place to duel now. After that, the two ran to make an appointment for a fight. Ning Fengzi on the side said, Uncle Jian and Uncle Gu are still as good as ever. Chapter 75, Blazing Sun Firebird. Tianyu and the others had already entered the secret realm. This secret realm is forbidden to those below the Soul Saint realm, 25 years old. If you force your way in, you will be teleported out the first time, and you will be killed by the secret realm's prohibition if you force your way in the second time. Therefore, those who enter the secret realm are all geniuses below the Soul Saint realm of each sect. The secret realm is open for half a month, and after half a month, the people in the secret realm will be forcibly teleported out. There are many opportunities in cultivation resources in the secret realm, such as spiritual medicines and spiritual mines that are not available in the outside world, and some caves and blessed places that can improve the cultivation of soul masters. The top-grade soul tools that Tianyu bought for Ning Rongrong last time were also obtained from the secret realm. If you are lucky, you will get a full set of top-grade soul tools when you go out. If you are unlucky, you may not even be able to leave the secret realm. Opportunities are often accompanied by dangers, because there are a lot of high-level bloodline soul beasts in the secret realm. They are all ancient bloodline soul beasts that have been in the secret realm for an unknown period of time, and their strength is much stronger than the soul beasts of the same level in the outside world. But the soul masters who enter here are also not vegetarians. They are also the geniuses among humans, so the soul beasts and soul masters will not suffer much. Tianyu said as soon as he entered the secret realm. System, check the completion conditions of the task. Ling. Task, Qinghai Secret Realm, completion conditions, the host needs to stay in Qinghai Secret Realm for 15 days. There are still 15 days? Oh, forget it, let's take a walk here, I wonder if I can meet my Zuir. Tianyu was talking about Jinriksu. After Tianyu made an agreement with Jinriksu that year, he never saw Jinriksu again. I would like to explain here that the author was a bit careless when writing the love story between the protagonist and Jinriksu, because it was the first time for the author to write a novel, and the author was not very good at typing at that time, so the love story could not be written very well, it could only be considered barely. I guess there should be many book friends who are poisoned by this. I am also very sorry, but I think that basically those who can see this are book friends who really like this book, and they should not care about these details. Novels are just for fun. Why do you have to read with your brain? People who read with their brains may not be happier than those who read without their brains. The author likes to read novels without thinking. Tianyu was flying in the air of the secret realm, and he murmured, "It has been almost 7 years since I last saw Zuir. Has Zuir become more beautiful?" Tianyu met many soul beasts in the secret realm along the way. Tianyu was too lazy to fight, so he kept flying at high altitude. In the middle, he also met many soul masters who entered the secret realm. When Tianyu passed by, they all showed that they were very wary of Tianyu. After all, the most terrifying thing in the secret realm is not the soul beast, but the soul master who is also a human. So they will be vigilant when they meet strange soul masters. Tianyu directly used the thunder wings of the Thunder Holy Dragon Martial Soul to fly over, and ignored those soul masters. Among the people below Tianyu, a young man said, "Wow! Who is this person? His martial soul wings are so handsome." The young man next to him immediately sneered, "What a handsome fart, dare to wander around in the secret realm alone, isn't this looking for death? The sons of the Holy Land dare not wander around in the secret realm like him." Most of the people who entered the secret realm acted together with their brothers and sisters in their own sects. There are indeed very few people like Tianyu who act alone, and even no one dares to act alone in the secret realm. Just as Tianyu was flying in the air, suddenly a violent flame shot directly at him. Tianyu dodged the flame lightly. When Tianyu saw it clearly, it turned out to be a large bird soul beast, huge in size, with terrifying flames all over its body. It was about 40,000 years old, and probably had the strength of a human soul emperor in the middle stage. Tianyu continued to fly calmly, and the big bird attacked Tianyu directly. Seeing this scene, the people below Tianyu exploded. "I said that this kid flying in the sky so swaggeringly would definitely attract soul beasts. Fuck, it's a 40,000-year-old fiery sun fire sparrow. Its bloodline is the best among bird soul beasts. Its strength is almost close to that of our human soul emperor in the late stage. It is estimated that only the saints of the Holy Land can deal with it. That guy is dead. Let's run quickly. After the fiery sun fire sparrow eats that kid, it will definitely come to eat us. The several geniuses of the Holy Land are not here, and no one can deal with this fiery sun fire sparrow." Almost everyone below thought that Tianyu was dead, and they were ready to escape. But in the crowd, a slender woman wearing a cloak and purple sand on her face did not leave, but stood still, looking at Tianyu and the fiery sun firebird in the sky. "Junior sister, let's go quickly." A young man next to the purple sand woman said anxiously. "Senior brother, wait a minute, I want to see." If Tianyu saw the two of them, he would definitely know who they were. These two people were the senior sister and senior brother in the group of people that Tianyu met in the inn yesterday, but the brainless junior brother was not there. The senior brother was almost speechless and said, "Junior sister, what's there to see? How could that person beat the 40,000-year-old fiery sun firebird? He is not a genius among the top 10 geniuses. Add something, among these geniuses, there is a top 10 genius list, and the 10 people on this list are the 10 strongest geniuses of this generation, then there's no rush to see it later and then leave." The senior brother felt helpless and could only stay with the purple sand woman. He wanted to see how many rounds Tianyu could fight with the Sunfire Sparrow. Even if he fought against the Sunfire Sparrow, he probably couldn't last more than 10 moves. He didn't think Tianyu could last long under the Sunfire Sparrow. He just wanted Tianyu to lose quickly so that he could take her junior sister away from this place of trouble. If anything happened to her junior sister, his master would break his legs. Tianyu was facing the Sunfire Sparrow in the air. Tianyu suddenly yawned and didn't even look at the Sunfire Sparrow. Tianyu's move not only stunned the audience below, but also angered the Sunfire Sparrow opposite him, because the Sunfire Sparrow, which was 40,000 years old, had already begun to have intelligence. He understood that Tianyu's move meant that he didn't take it seriously. The huge body of the Sunfire Sparrow burned with terrifying flames and rushed towards Tianyu at a high speed, forming a flaming meteor in the air. Shit, this kid has completely pissed off the fiery sunbird. The fiery sunbird has directly become fucking bigger. Run quickly, or you'll be affected. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.